yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, guys, welcome to Thursday night, February the 3rd in the year of our Lord, 2022. And we're through January already, and we're here in February, but I can feel the spring on my face every day. Not really, but I feel it coming. We're a couple months away from springtime. Right now, we're in the winter. But it's going to be warm and toasty in tonight because we got a lot of hot topics. That's right, baby. A lot of hot topics. We got a lot to talk about tonight, Jeff and I. We're going to get right to it tonight. But I'm glad you guys are taking the time to join us, whether you're across the street or around the world, including our friends in Israel. Shalom. And parts unknown. We are literally in all these Europe. We broadcast everywhere. So thank you to everybody who pays attention to Jeff and I every week. And we look forward to a great show tonight and for the next coming year. I think we're going to stick around for another year. We'll see. We'll see if Jeff's still willing. He's getting busier and busier out there with the bands and work and all that other stuff. So, but we got a lot to get to this week. So I hope you guys have had a good week. We had some great football, but we got some hellos and some goodbyes. And we're going to say goodbye to this man, to this guy who wore this hat this year. The greatest of them all, the GOAT himself, the legendary Tom Brady says goodbye. He didn't make it to 50, folks, but he did make it to immortality. That's right. Tom Brady is immortal. Tom Brady will be the next Babe Ruth. Tom Brady will be talked about 50 years from now, 100 years from now. People will talk about the legendary Tom Brady. So we say goodbye to Tom, and we welcome. Well, what are we welcoming in? You said, Tom, there's a hello and a goodbye. Well, the hello is we welcome in. Well, we actually say another goodbye. Goodbye to the Washington football team. And hello to the Washington Commanders. Singularly the worst football team name. It sounds like an XFL team. How ridiculous. We got that. We got plenty to get to tonight. We got Brian Flores is suing everybody, and I don't think he's ever going to fix it. Harry Carson's a moron. We'll talk about the Giants hired Brian Dable, solid coach. We'll see what he's as a head coach. We got again the Washington Commanders. We got Super Bowl, guys. We just with all the stuff going on, we didn't even get to talk about we haven't even opened up with the Super Bowl yet. That's right. We got a Super Bowl game ahead of us. We'll talk about last week's games. We'll talk about this Super Bowl, which we'll do a lot more next week. We got the passing of John Z. Most of you guys, if you're a metal fan, would know who Johnny Z is. Johnny C and his wife Marcia were the heads of Megaforce Records. They signed this band such as Metallica, got them their first gigs on the East Coast, got them hooked up with Raven. Overkill, Freely's Comets, Warren Haynes, so many more who passed away this week at the young age of 69. About 13 months after his dear wife Marcia passed away. And while a lot of people don't know who Johnny Z is, if you're a local person in this area and you're a metal fan, you've heard of Johnny Z and Marcia and Megaforce Records. So we'll try to do our best to do a few minutes on both of them. Let's see. I also want to mention Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, has the worst haircut I've ever seen. I'll show it to Jeff. We'll talk about the Pro Bowl, maybe for 30 seconds. I think that's it. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Head coaches. We'll all fall into the Brian Flores thing, but we can't get the show started right now. We can't get it started until I get my partner on crime on the phone. On the phone? Wow, we don't do the phone anymore. I miss the old days of the phone. When Jeff used to go to the bathroom while he was on the show, talking to me, pretending he was listening to me while he was pooping. But those are the old days. We got to get this kicked off. Let's get him on the air. He's my partner in crime. He's my dear friend for 40 years, and he's the sexiest man on his side of the screen. What's
up?
Acknowledge you, baby. Genuflect if you must.
Please.
Bow to the greatness of Tom. Bow to the greatness. You can. It's fine. One night, I'll let you do it. I'll let you join Team Tom. Oh, please. You should be embarrassed wearing that in the name of Tom. The guy dominated you guys for 40 years, it feels like.
Listen, that's why he has half the records that he does, because
That's right.
Shit division for how many years?
What a disgrace! You should be bowing and genuflecting in the presence. Hold on, I'll bring
Out of here.
Yeah, say nice things to Tom. Say, Tom, you're the greatest.
You know
Tom,
what that looks like?
Story.
You know what that looks like?
What?
Look at the look on his face.
It looks like, yes, I've dominated you for 40 years. I own you, bitch.
He looks like my cock.
I own you, you bitch. That's what he's saying
like.
right now.
My dong.
Oh, please. Now, listen, we're here to celebrate Tom and his greatness. And I'm not surprised. I didn't think there was any chance he was coming back this year. Did you think, Jeff, legitimately there was a half a chance he'd come back? What was your end of season thought?
Dude, I thought the fucking guy was going to play for another 15 years. I could wait for him to retire. I'm so tired of seeing him going to the fucking Super Bowl and being in championship games and everything else. It's almost like, fuck him. Fuck him. Seriously. Fuck him.
Well, I will miss Tom Brady. The guy's a professional, one of the true competitors of our time. What's up, Mike Weissman? What's up, brother? What's up, Mike Weiss?
He's a fucking onion head.
Well, again, I personally will miss Tom Brady. We'll talk a lot about Tom Brady along the way. The guy has just broken every record.
Listen, if you played in the NFL and was a halfway decent quarterback, and you played 22 years in the NFL, you'd have a couple records too.
I bet you couldn't find another guy who played 22 years, and there's plenty of them out there who've done it as a quarterback or any position you want to play.
There has not been many quarterbacks that played 22 years. Mostly place kickers played 22 fucking years.
Just say it. He's the greatest of all time. It's not even close.
And what happened? Our audience went down.
Yeah, we lost about 13% in Israel this week. I must have been your Tom Brady tirades. That's all. It must have been your Tom Brady tirades. You've cost us.
Where are
big
these
fans? They're big
and
fans.
Mike, how are you? I don't know if he's even still there.
Yeah, our Jewish friends are big Tom Brady fans, and you blew it. You've made them angry. So we lost a couple people.
So you know what? I ain't even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna say it.
Well, this show we will celebrate the career of Thomas Brady, the greatest quarterback ever to step on the field, the most perfect competitor. The man I wear the hat for tonight. I could switch to the Patriot hat if it makes you feel any better.
I don't care what hat you wear.
You certainly can. You should be genuflecting.
I don't care.
You should genuflect.
If you want to fucking spend your time on a has-been, that's up to you. Guy's not even in the league anymore.
I told you today. Do you know that your team has not won a division game since 2018? You know how embarrassing that is? That's
embarrassment to me. I couldn't care less.
It's embarrassing. You put that on your head. You wear that hat on your head like
that
it's
is the team that I root for, man. I don't care if they win.
They have not. They couldn't win a game in their division in years. Not like weeks or months.
That's okay.
Since last year.
That's okay.
Oh, it's embarrassing. I feel bad for you. I almost want to invite you over to the Giants. Almost.
I would never. I would.
Almost.
Dude, I would rather take a belt sander to my nutbag than to play for the Giants.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
And let me explain something to you about the Giants.
Yeah.
They have not hit rock bottom yet. They have not hit rock bottom. Good God. This guy, how do you pronounce this new coach's name? Dable? Dable. He's a fucking sham. He's a sham.
You going with now? A week ago, you were telling me the Giants did a great thing. They've done it right this time.
They did a great thing until I heard him talk.
That's it. That was it. That was all you needed.
That's all I needed. And he's over there like, oh, Jones is our man.
He is.
Oh my God. You didn't even fucking get in there yet. What do you know? What do you know?
All you needed here.
Here's what you finished, what, 5-12? Every job is up for grabs. Every job. Nobody has a job. Okay.
First off, he didn't say Jones was our guy. He said he's looking forward to working with him. That's all.
Jones is our guy because he's towing the company line.
He did not say
we ended up getting rid of Judge, but we can't get rid of Jones.
It's not what anybody said. I watched and read and listened to everything all week. You're again making things up. But Jeff, there's much more exciting things to talk about this week in the NFL. First off, we had 2 good football games on Sunday. Did you partake and watch of these football games Sunday?
Yes. Kansas City got robbed.
Kansas City got robbed. What are you out of your mind? They choked.
Got robbed.
That's had to be the single worst football call I've ever seen. 3 seconds left in the half, and you throw a pass behind the line of scrimmage?
No. Listen, the worst call ever yet in the playoffs was the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, okay. I agree. I can't argue that point. Yeah,
okay, that's the worst call.
I agree.
I did not see that call. Now, listen, that's great. I hope it shrinks. I hope it shrinks so you can't wear it no more. And then I hope that Fauci makes what do you call it? A Tampa Bay Buccaneers mandate.
Did you hit a new one today? I heard the new one today that at the State of the Union speech, your boy Joe Biden's going to remove the mask mandates. No more mask mandates as of the State of the Union. That's going to be
and when is the State of the Union in fucking like
March? July? I think it's March 1st. March 1st. Your boy's desperate. He's got to do something. He's got to stop the lies some point.
You know what he's got to do?
Wow.
I'll tell you what he's got to do. You want to gain some points back, Joey? Do something about Russia, bro.
Yeah, that would be good, right?
Yeah.
Instead of telling Putin, it's okay, go ahead and do it.
Not that we're going to know about it anyway. Because if they start trading off nukes, we'll be one of the first ones to go.
Sure, that's very true. That's absolutely
one thing right there. Okay?
Listen, there's no doubt about that. Hey, did you hear there was not to do too much political stuff, but did you hear there was a story about Johns Hopkins, is a big famous hospital. I don't know if you know what Johns Hopkins is, but
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, so they did a study, and it came up with the thing that basically that all the lockdowns were useless. And at the end of the day, the lockdowns prevented 0.2% of deaths. So if you had not locked the country down at all, the most would have happened. You would have lost another maybe 0.02%. So barely would have. So basically said, you know what you were doing. You locked the country down, and you kept it going forever, and it didn't do work.
That wasn't even a fucking lockdown, Tom.
I'm just telling you.
And it was a bullshit half-ass lockdown.
I'm just telling you.
Listen, I'm not arguing with you. I hear you.
Yeah.
But if you're going to lock the country down, then you locked it down. And you be just like, stay in your house. We'll tell you when you come out. Yeah. It's going to be 2 weeks indoors minimum. Okay? So what'd they do? You could still go to fucking laundromat. You could still go to the pharmacy like CVS, which is a store. You could still go to Home Depot, Lowe's, lumber yards, hardware stores, and there was plenty of places where you could go, food stores.
Yeah.
So you were still able to get exposed to this, regardless. Price Club, supermarkets. If you had said you have a week to get every the supplies you need, and then we're staying in house for 2-3 weeks, all right, then maybe. Because if I don't see you physically, I can't give you the disease.
Yeah.
I can't give you the virus.
True.
So by still allowing people to go to work and do this and do that, I mean, come on.
That would have been a real lockdown. That's why I did. Science had nothing to do with it, folks. If you haven't figured that out yet, this is all about power and control. It had nothing to do with science. If you were dealing with science, we might have actually stopped this a long time ago, or at least found a way to reduce it and slow it down. But this isn't about that. And the show's not about that. We got a lot to talk to. We got a lot to talk about tonight, Jeff. We got Brian Flores' lawsuit. We got Giant head coaches. We got Super Bowls. We got the new Commanders. We got a lot to get to. But before we get to all of that, I got to ask the magic question, Jeff. Jeff, how was your week?
Oh, about an extra 24 hours long.
Yeah, you had a lot of busy weekend, huh?
I worked 3 straight 16-hour days.
Wow.
From 7 at night till 11 the next day.
And the happiest person with all of that was me, because that kept you from harassing me all day with your inane comments. So I was thankful to Mayor Adams for keeping you busy.
Whatever.
And so what happens tomorrow is supposed to be some bad rain, possible snow, ice, Does that put you on alert again?
I guess where I'll be.
You'll be on alert for 16 hours?
I'm not doing 16 hours. They're lucky if I even fucking show up tomorrow. My boss pissed me off something fierce today.
Oh, really?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember.
He's going to get his.
There's money at the end of that tree, my friend. There's money at the end of that tree.
Keep some of the money. I'd rather get my pound of flesh from him.
And I want to get to my dad in 2 seconds, but I also saw a post, the first big Deceiver show coming up.
This is the second announcement of the first show. The first show was supposed to be back in December.
I remember.
Let's see what happens.
You're a little skeptical at this point. We'll take it as a skeptical thing. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to Thursday night. It's Jeff and Tom. We're hanging out. We got a lot to get to tonight. Lots to talk about. And of course, hey, remember this Saturday we'll do a special edition of the Sunday Audible with John and Jeff and myself. We're gonna do about an hour. Just kind of get through some of the issues, talk about last week's games a little more in depth than maybe we'll do tonight. And we'll be back the following week with probably our last Sunday Audible show with the Super Bowl show. So stay heads up for all of that. We got lots of stuff coming up. So keep tuned in, and we'll keep you entertained. A lot to talk about tonight. Johnny Z passing away. Lots to talk about tonight, Jeff. Lots to get to.
Yeah, I hear you.
So let's get my dad on. Let's see what he's got to say. And let me push the buttons. What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. What's up, Pop? What's going on?
Not much. I just listening to your comments. I agree with most of it. I think he's one of, if not, I'd say he's in the top 2-3 quarterbacks that I've seen. I don't like when people say the greatest of all time, because if you're saying somebody's the greatest of all time, that means you haven't seen the other guys play. A lot of great quarterbacks. He was a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I used to tell too, he got a lot of calls that he shouldn't have got.
Yep.
If you touched him, it was almost a guaranteed penalty for roughing the quarterback.
Yep.
But that only tells me that you're a great quarterback.
Don't forget he played in a gay division too.
Oh my God! Here we go. Oh my God!
So did everybody else play in a shitty, division.
No, he played in a division where the other teams won 4 games a year between the 3 of them.
Yeah, because they couldn't beat his team.
And that's where he got 5 or 6 wins a year.
Jeez.
Times that by 22.
So, all right, I would half agree with you if he got to the playoffs and lost every year. But out of 22 years, he made it to the playoffs about 18 times and went to the Super Bowl 10 times. So your analysis, as usual, the light, as you call yourself,
negative. You know why? Because the fucking referees, he had the referees in his back pocket, and he was paying them off.
You sound like Brian Flores now.
That's why there was nobody within 10 yards of him. There'd be a roughing the passer penalty.
Tom Brady is the GOAT.
Stop. The fuck out of here. Please.
So, yeah, Pops, what else you got?
Please.
Yeah, so I agree with you, Pop. It's hard. Listen, I never saw some of these guys play. I would just say in my lifetime, I wouldn't even say Tom Brady is the most gifted quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, I'd have to, if I was picking a pure quarterback, probably Aaron Rodgers in this era. The guy just has all the physical tools and gifts. I love Peyton Manning. Didn't have a great arm. And I take Dan Marino. But if I was picking one quarterback to win one game, it's Tom Brady.
You can't argue with it because of what he shows for it.
Right.
You can't argue with that.
Exactly right.
At that point.
Right.
But I have to agree with you. There were a lot of quarterbacks that had a lot of better things than he did.
Right.
But for some reason, they just couldn't win. And he really never had any outstanding receivers or anything to that. But what I will give him that he had great offensive line.
Yeah, well, listen,
he's not going to win without it because the Giants showed.
Right.
If you want to beat him, you got to press him.
Right. The problem, the one thing, here's what I'll say, Jeff, and you can knock him, and I get the fact that you want to knock him. I get it. It's fine. My only point with Tom Brady is naming how many guys that he played with in 22 years. And I'm not going to even talk about the Tampa Bay because he kind of fell into that team. And it's true like that. But how many of those Patriots any of them going to wind up as Hall of Famers? Gronk?
There'll be a couple that end up as Hall of Famers, and
Gronk?
he helped some of those get into the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
But once again, when you're playing at least 6 of your 16 games against a weaker division opponent, and you're winning 5 or 6 of those games a year, the high and mighty Patriots aren't so high and mighty.
Can't seem to just get that. He just can't get over his bitterness.
I understand what you're saying, Tom, but you could do that with a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, let's take Eli Manning. I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
And I bet you if you had 10 people who his receivers were, they wouldn't be able to
I agree. That's why I think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer because
there we go.
There
we go, man. I feel fucking Sharon, give me that fucking bucket, please.
Right. This is not Troy Aikman who had 9 Hall of Famers on his team. This isn't Terry Bradshaw who had 12 or 15 Hall of Famers on the team. Roger Staubach. These are guys who played with marginal, mediocre ball players and took them to Super Bowls and won. Especially Brady. He took all these marginal players who went other places and turned into nothings and won 7 Super Bowls with them. That's just. He should have a separate wing in the Hall of Fame just for himself.
I think he's a very excellent quarterback.
Yep.
I would say, as of right now, he's in this era.
Yeah.
He is the best quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, whether you want to say he's the best,
who knows?
You want to go back before the Super Bowl? I mean, it was Bart Starr who, if you looked at him play, he was not a great quarterback. He just had the horses around him.
Yeah.
He had great running backs. He had great receivers. Even name it. He had 2 of the greatest receivers that I ever saw.
Yeah.
Made it in Sour. So
here's the one thing I'll say about Tom Brady in all seriousness. And I'm going to be serious about it. He is probably the best competitor I've ever seen on a football field. For a guy who all you read about played every practice like it was a Super Bowl game, who trained and lived and did everything he could to be successful till he was 44 years old. I mean, think about it, guys. He's a guy who at 44 years old retired, top passer in the league, 5,200 yards with 40-something touchdowns, in the playoffs, and left the field, tied, ready to go to overtime to win a football game. Boy, I tell you, that's a pretty good career, and I'll take Tom Brady because he's a hell of a competitor. Huh?
I have to agree with you.
Yeah,
I think he's a very, very excellent quarterback.
Yep.
And like you said, sometimes you go in any sport and you find somebody in the sport that really doesn't stand out. But I look at Bill Russell. To me, Bill Russell was. I watched him play. I saw him in person. He was a great center, but he won 11 championships. And then they tell you, well, he played in a league that only had 8 teams. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So did everybody else.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
So
exactly.
Win 11 championships out of 13 years. That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
So some people just, for some reason, they're able to do it. They're able to win the big games.
Absolutely.
And Brady was one of them. And I won't take anything away from him. I think, like you said, that's a lot of work.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of work.
100%.
All right, I'm going to let you guys go.
Thanks, Pops.
Jeff, take care. Jeff, you take care.
See you later, Mr. Florio.
Take care.
You got Pops here over the weekend. That's my daddy. Checks in every week with us. And as usual, he agrees with me because I'm right. So that's what's good about it. Dad knows the deal. I think my authentic, this is an identical replica of my insides. If you were to slice me down the middle and open me up, this is what you'd see.
Dude, you look like a pile of oatmeal with a fucking skeleton shirt on. What are you kidding me? You thinking all of this shit about Brady shows that your IQ is about that of a pile of oatmeal.
Please. Tom Brady is the GOAT. But listen, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Tom Brady as we go. Saturday, we're going to have highlight packages. We got a lot to talk about on Saturday. But in the meantime, I do want to get to one thing. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominee list is out, Jeff. Have you seen it?
I did not hear about this yet.
Oh, you're going to like this one, Jeff. Let's see. So I'm going to give you the entire list of nominees. And one, you have to categorize them 2 ways. 1, are they really rock and roll? 2,
I'm
are they Rock and Roll Hall of Famers?
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna count them. How many people you consider rockers, and how many you consider Hall of Famers?
I'm answering both questions per band.
Correct, per band. You ready?
Per act. Okay.
Per act, whatever it is, band, act, singer,
Okay.
whatever. All right, let me get a little pen and paper here so that I can keep track. You ready?
Yep.
All right, Jeff. First person up is Pat Benatar.
Yes on both questions.
Okay, so you got a 1-for-1 Rock and Roll Hall of Famer and a rocker.
Yeah.
He belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, regardless.
Yes.
Okay. Second one, I don't see any issue with Judas Priest.
I would say about time.
Okay, if they get in there, that'd be great. Jeff, next up is Kate Bush.
I know her, but I don't know much about her. But I'm going to say yes because of her longevity. I'm sorry, I can't even say longevity. I'll say yes.
Really?
Yeah, because I've heard about her. She was out when we were kids.
Okay.
She wasn't exactly new wave, but she was definitely like played guitar and sang. She had her own band from what I remember. And she was also, she performed a lot. I remember seeing her a lot. Not seeing her, but advertisements for her playing. And I don't know if she's still active.
I cannot answer. So, all right, I'll count it yes. A little surprised. How about Beck?
No.
Okay.
Jeff Beck or the group Beck?
It just says Beck. So I have to say it was the group Beck.
No.
Okay. How about Rage Against the Machine?
I don't think they've done enough.
I would agree. But they would be in the rock category, but they would not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame category.
Yeah. I can go with that.
How about Eminem, Jeff?
No, definitely not.
Okay. How about Fela Kuti?
I don't even know who that is.
So it's going to have to be a no then, I guess.
I would say, yeah.
How about Carly Simon? Does Carly Simon deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one because it's definitely before our time.
Yep.
And she was kind of known for that folk rock, kind of in the early 70s to the mid 70s, 80s type of stuff.
Okay.
So I could say I'll say I got to answer.
You got to answer it.
Say yes.
Wow. Okay. I'm a little surprised. A little more getting in than I expected. How about Dolly Parton, Jeff?
No.
You can't put Dolly in?
No.
For no two reasons?
Nope. Cannot put Dolly Parton in.
Okay. How about Dionne Warwick?
No.
No Dionne Warwick. Hold on.
No.
I'm being messaged by a friend of ours. Let's see. I just got a thumbs up from Joe Gansas. I'm not sure. Okay. Thanks, Joe. Maybe he's listening. Maybe he's listening in. Jeff, how about how about the Eurythmics?
I don't know. I would say no, but I know that they're probably going in.
There's Joe Gansas. Yep, Joe, what's this conversation? It's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Jeff's out of his mind if he thinks the Eurythmics belong in the Rock and Roll. I didn't say whether they're going in or not. I'm saying if Jeff Towinski had a vote for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, if we get you on the panel and you're in the room, are you fighting to get the Eurythmics into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, am I fighting to get the Eurythmics?
This is not whether you think they're going to get in.
The name of the band, but I would say no.
Okay, this is about whether Jeff Towinski would vote for these bands to get them in. That's
no, definitely not.
Okay,
definitely not.
So let's move on to the MC5.
Yes,
I agree with that. The MC5 is a trailblazer in our line of music. How about the New York Dolls?
Yes.
New York Dolls are getting in. How about Sacrifice? Joe Gates wants to know Sacrifice getting in.
Influential, but not influential enough, man. I would say the Hall should pass over them until there's a proper reunion and they go out the right way.
That's true. Can't argue that point.
If they put it to bed and they go out the right way,
to go right in.
I think that they should add a wing for Sacrifice.
Wow,
Hall of Fame.
Special, Jeff. How about Lionel Richie? Did I ask you about the New York Dolls? The New York Dolls going in?
It's about the New York Dolls, yeah.
That was a yes. Okay. How about Lionel Richie? Is Lionel Richie getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No.
I can't. Okay. How about a Tribe Called Quest? I don't know anything about this band.
Neither do I, but they were a somewhat of a new wave 80s type of band, I guess. Okay. So I'm going to say that I would say no. I would do no.
Okay.
But
How
I'm
about?
sure there's going to be some psychos that are going to push.
I would say I agree. I'd love to get Joe's take on all of this. I see he's listening. This might be a target right, a topic up his alley. But Jeff, how about Devo? Is Devo in their weird hats and stuff? Are they getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I'm gonna say yeah. You know why?
For
I'm
one
gonna say that
song?
they're influential.
But
No, they were not just for one song. They were big in their genre of music. We didn't listen to them. We knew of one song.
Oh my God!
You know, I would say yeah.
So you would vote? You would cast your ballot for Devo?
Yeah, I would.
Wow, interesting. I have to check the smoke detectors in your house. Your carbon monoxide detectors. Y&T belongs. Yes, Joe. Y&T, Iron Maiden. There's a whole bunch of bands that belong. How about last one? Duran.
Listen, if
Rock
I'm
and Roll Hall of Fame.
If I'm putting in Devo, I would have to put in Duran before I put in Devo.
Look at you! You're all over this today. You're faking me out.
No, I'm just being honest with you. These bands that were in their time were influential, and even though I did not listen to them, I'm trying to be objective and know what they did. Mm-hmm. And Duran was a band that did their share of shit, you know.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm a little surprised. I'll run mine real quick. Pat Benatar would be a probably yes. I think there's a lot of influence there.
Hold on. It's got to be yes or no. Can't
be I will say if I was voting, I'll go back to your way, and you're 100% right. Pat Benatar would get my vote. Judas Priest gets my vote. I'm a no on Kate Bush, no on Beck, absolutely no on Rage Against the Machine, no on Eminem, no on Fela Kuti, no on Carly Simon and Dolly Parton, no on Dionne Warwick. Eurythmics got no shot. MC5 gets in. The New York Dolls get in. No Lionel Richie, no Tribe Called Quest. Devo could come and play a song, but they can't get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We'll let them stand outside. And absolutely no one Duran. I actually like a couple Duran songs, but that's just basically it. So to me, out of that, you're getting in maybe 4 or 5. Maybe if you're lucky, 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'd say 4 I'm getting in. So
that's all you're putting in is 4?
Well, I would say Pat Benatar, Judas Priest, MC5, the New York Dolls. That's it. 4 for me.
How many did I put in? I must have put
you
in about
put
8.
in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 people you put in.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy. So again, change this from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to the Music Hall of Fame, and then they can put anybody in. I think that's been the one thing that they've done wrong is stop calling it rock and roll. And again, I am a big believer, Jeff. I know you're not, but I'm a big believer that a lot of things either built, the early blues, built themselves into rock and roll has spawned all these things, rap, and it just was the what's the right word I'm looking for? The maturation of the rock music became all these things. And I get it, but just call it the Music Hall of Fame.
I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, I think that's if they just said, "Hey, this is the music," or I don't know, but just the Music Hall of Fame in Cleveland. I think you could put anybody in at that point.
Yeah, I agree. If you just call it the Music Hall of Fame or Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame, not Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
of course, man. How could you not? Because you're covering a large variety and basis of bands and stuff.
Yeah,
so I would think that. Yeah,
100%. And again, if you want to do a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and make it specific to rock and roll, I'm okay with that. It'll have a wing. You have a Music Hall of Fame, then you have like the country section, the rock section, the metal section, rap. You can have all these different wings that people could go to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've been infiltrated.
Yes, we've been infiltrated by Red. I don't know who is, but he's listening.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be careful what you say, Jeff. It's
hey.
So, Hard Rock Sports, Jeff and Tommy every Thursday night, 7 to 9:30. Lots to talk about. Let's turn it over. We did a little music. We're going to get to Johnny Z in a little while. But, Jeff, I want to talk a little bit about Brian Flores and his insane lawsuit against the NFL, the Giants, the Broncos, the the Dolphins, and Jeff, this has ramifications all over the place. I'm gonna let you go first, but obviously this is career suicide if you're Brian Flores.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah.
That's putting it fucking lightly.
But the one thing I want to say before I turn it over to you and let you run with it a little bit is, this whole allegation about tanking for money. Somebody brought it up to me the other day, and I thought it was an interesting take. And if you start, now you got Hugh Jackson saying the same thing happened in Cleveland, but they didn't do it. They just, they were purposely trying to lose games. If you're people gambling on football on these websites, somebody's going to start a lawsuit and say, hey, I was betting on those games and you were losing on purpose. This has opened up a can of worms that I don't think the NFL or anybody else wants to have happen. So what's your thoughts?
I think that he's insane.
Okay.
You were just head coach for 2 years in Miami, and you did a pretty good job. Okay. And then on top of it, you took a team that was 1-7, brought them back to a 500 record. Okay. And then you say all of this stuff because you didn't get hired by the Giants. Then you want to call your interview a sham interview, that they only did it for the race card, which I don't believe. Honestly, the New York Giants strike me as the last organization that would ever do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if this guy doesn't prove his allegations, he should receive a lifetime ban by the NFL and not be allowed in a stadium while there's a game going on. Okay. In today's day and age, with some of the racial stuff that goes on, the racial ideaism, if that's even a word.
That's a good one, though. I like that. I like that idea. I like that ideaism. I like that.
The way things are supposed to be made and the way they are portrayed and all of this sick shit. And then you come out and you say this and you knock back everything another 20 years. Do you really think the NFL have already shown that they would hire black candidates?
Sure.
And minority candidates? Why would anybody want to put you down as a coach of the Miami Dolphins? You were the first coach that got it in winning seasons 2 years in a row. I don't know. I just do not understand what his reasoning and way of thinking is. I just don't understand it.
Listen, a couple of things for me. First of all, Jeff, you own a team. Okay, you spent billions of dollars on it. You're a billionaire. You basically fire people left and right in your regular businesses. Now you're in the NFL. You own it. You're spending millions and $200 million a year on your payroll just for 53 players, not counting the other 150 people in your organization, not counting paying for your stadium and all the shit that goes along with it. You're telling me that you don't have the ability or the right to hire whoever you want to run your team?
Well, if I remember right, the Rooney Rule says that you have to interview a minority. It doesn't
Correct.
have
Two.
to hire a minority. Now it's up to 2?
Yes, it's 2. You have to hire 2 minority candidates from outside of your organization.
Jeez. Too many rules. Too many rules.
Yeah, don't you think, first of all, the Rooney Rule is really what's making this worse? Because if Joe Shane, now here's the thing. For weeks, exactly, Joe, we don't need the Rooney Rule. That's what I'm getting to. So for weeks, people like you were screaming that the Maras didn't know what they were doing. They need to hire somebody who is from outside the organization and is not going to do the same old dumb things. They hire a guy who comes in and says, basically, Brian Dable's my guy, but let's talk to a few other people just to see. And they do all of that. And he hires the guy he wants. The Maras Mara and Tish has nothing to say about it. They fulfill the rule by interviewing 2 candidates who they really legitimately had. John Mara called the day after they fired Joe Judge. John Mara called Brian Flores and says, "Hey, you're at the top of my list, but I gotta hire a GM first. So give me as much time as you can, and we'll get back to you." I mean, does that sound like somebody who's bringing you in for a sham interview?
No, I don't think the Giants would have had a sham interview in the first place. first of all, I don't know what the ramifications are of having a sham interview.
But how do you prove it's a sham interview?
Well, that's another thing too. But let's
Right.
just say
Okay, go
if
ahead.
somebody was to prove that it's a sham interview. Let's just say that they're able to do it. What are the ramifications? Do you know?
I think it's a fine and a couple lost draft picks.
Okay. Are the New York Giants in any position under the sun to give up any kind of draft picks this year coming up?
Not at all.
All right. So right there, to me, that downplays the risk when you have a team that basically, pretty much hit bottom. I don't think that they're totally at rock bottom yet, but I think they're close.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now they're ascending. They're on their way up. And listen, I just don't see it. I just don't see them taking that chance and like, okay, here, give them this, give them a water bottle too, and one of those little drawstring bags, and a couple keychains for the kids and some lollipops, and tell them no, sorry, but maybe next year.
But to Joey's point and to yours as well, don't you think the Rooney Rule by having it, you're automatically making it a sham by saying, well, no matter what happens, now everybody who's a minority who gets interviewed, in the back of their brain, they're saying to themselves, hey, was I only here because they had to interview somebody? Whereas, let's say years past, you interviewed one or two guys who happen to be minorities. They were legitimately in the running. Now with the Rooney Rule, you're almost telling people we're bringing in Brian Flores or Leslie Frazier or whoever it is because we have to. I mean, isn't that Rooney Rule actually making this more difficult?
Well, I think that until the Rooney Rule is keeping racism alive on some levels.
Yes.
Okay? By even saying that you have to interview a minority, regardless of color or whatever it is, but there has to be a minority. How about hiring the best person available, whether it is a man, woman, whatever? Doesn't matter.
I would agree.
It's up to you to get the best candidate. And why do you have to let them know who you're going to interview? Because what happens if you interview your first candidate and you're like, wow, this guy just blew us out of the water?
Exactly.
You can't hire him until you interview the others, correct?
Right. Exactly right. And that's what happened here. That's exactly what happened.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. So you're going to tell me that the Giants and the NFL have systematic. Let's put it this way: the Giants probably employ 200 people. Let's just say it's around 200 people between the players, staff, people who work in the stadium, all of that stuff, right? 70% of the players are black. Half of the head coaches are black or minority. Okay.
Assistants, you mean?
Yes. Assistant coaches, whatever. The head trainer, the guy, the lead medical guy on the team for the last 25 years is an African-American guy in Ronnie Barnes. For 10 years, they had a general manager. The guy running your team for 10 years was African-American. Okay?
Yeah, they seem a pretty straight up white bread team.
That's my point. So you're telling me because one position on the team they haven't filled yet with a African-American or a minority candidate is head coach, and that makes them a racist organization, that there's systematic racism in the NFL and on the Giants. Jeff, I can't buy into it.
No, I don't buy into it either, Tom. I really don't. I don't buy into it. I think that it's fucked up. If I was the Giants, I know there's a couple people on the Giants that were pissed about it. I would be. Listen, the Giants are not the only team. I didn't even know about Denver, and John Elway was bugging out about it.
Yeah.
So you're dragging people's names through the mud.
Yeah.
And who's the other guy? I think he was the coach in Cleveland. It's not Romeo Crennel. It was somebody else, and they were saying, "Well, we were told to lose the game."
Hugh Jackson. Yeah, Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, Hugh Jackson. We were told to lose the game, and
Hugh Jackson was 1-31 his first 2 years. I mean, come on, man. Now, here's the problem I have with all of that, Jeff. I think, hold on, Joey's asking me, anytime you want. Here's the problem I have with that. If this was so egregious, that Flores in 2019 was offered this, why did you wait till now? Why did you continue to work for the team Why didn't you walk away immediately and say, hey, I got to get out of here? Right?
Good question, Tom. Good
Hugh
question.
Jackson was 2018, I think. Hugh Jackson, why did you stay around so long? If you were offered this in your first year or so, why did you continue to work for the team if it was so bothered by this?
It's one thing if you continue to work for the team because you wanted to prove yourself. But why are you coming out now once Brian Flores runs out and says what he has to say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly right.
Why didn't you do it earlier this year or whatever? This guy's trying to become man. Wow, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think he's just trying. Listen, at this point, I think a lot of people. I read an article in the Post today about Harry Carson, and Harry Carson was basically blasting the Giants. Sure, Joey's going to call in about 8:00. But Harry Carson, who's a longtime Giant Hall of Famer, how he's disappointed the Giants haven't hired a head coach. Hey, Harry, the Giants can hire whoever they want. And this time the guy who got hired was hired by their general manager. And he of all people should know, the Giants made a lot of African Americans and minorities very wealthy people. I mean, let's call it what it is. Part of the lawsuit said that the NFL and its teams still have a situation of the plantation mentality, that they treat the players like plantation workers. And I'm like, I didn't remember the plantation workers making $1 million a year.
$1 million?
Yeah.
How about the guys that are making $40 million a year?
Agreed. I'm saying is the worst players in the league make like around $900,000. The guys who are just marginal, going to be on the team for a year, player is making $1 million. Does that sound like a plantation to you?
No, it don't. No, it does not.
And this bothers me to no end because this is just, and let me ask you, I'm going to pick up Joey in a second. Let me ask you this question. So he goes for the interview on Thursday and he files his major lawsuit on Tuesday. You're not telling me that sometime before that he didn't have this already planned out before he even went to his interview? Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we could pick this one apart for a long time. There's a lot of questions. But here's the thing. Your career was coming along.
Yeah. He would have got another job.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Absolutely got another job. Absolutely. Now, let me ask you a question. I read today that the Texans, he's still one of the top couple candidates for that job. Can the Texans offer him the job? Can he take the job, Jeff?
Why would you? Well, listen, the Texans with holding on to Deshaun Watson, I could definitely see them.
I'm just saying, if you're the Texans, can you offer him the job with this lawsuit hanging in there? And if you're him, can you take it?
Yeah, I don't think he could take it. I could see him getting offered, but I can't see him taking it.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one to do. But again, guys, our Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff Tom Winsky, I'm Tom Florio, and we're here every Thursday night, 7 to 9:30. And, of course, on Saturday this week, special edition of the Sunday Audible, 9 a.m., 1 hour only, with Jeff and I and our good friend John Marhefka will talk to you about all these things going on in the NFL. We'll celebrate Tom Brady retiring. Jeff's just dying to talk Tom Brady. Speaking of which, our good buddy of 40 years, the handsome guy Joe Gansas, the man behind the rebooted Around the Kit, would like to join us. So let's get him on the air, Jeff.
Go ahead, man.
What's up, Joe?
What's up, guys? What's up, Tommy? What's up, Jeff?
I can't hear him. Hey, Joe, what's going on, dude?
I'm trying to raise his volume a little bit. What's doing, Joe?
How you guys doing tonight?
We're good, Joe. Just doing our thing. You're doing a little listening. You hear us spewing about the Rooney Rule and all of that. But I don't think that's why you called in. You wanted to talk a little Tom Brady. Is that your topic of the night, or you want to touch on the Rooney Rule for a second?
Well, I wanted to touch on Flores.
Okay.
There's so many inconsistencies in his story. If you watch him, even when he talks in an interview, he's all over the place. There's so many inconsistencies. I don't know if you guys picked that up, but I just find there's so many voids in everything he said. Yeah,
I have not watched any of his interviews. I read a little bit in the paper. I really don't have a stomach for it, Joe, to be honest with you. I think it's pathetic, and I think it's another round of bullshit.
It's just sad. just sad how the NFL wants to make certain people puppets and just turn this into the race card. You get the right guy for the job, and that's it. Black, white, whatever.
Hey, Joe, let me ask you a question. If you're an NFL owner, okay, you spent billions of dollars buying your team, okay, building a stadium, bringing in players. Are you telling me if two guys walked into the room and one of them was a perfect candidate but he was black, and the other guy was less than perfect but he was white, you would take the less than perfect guy? Is that really what you're telling me? You believe that the owners who are trying to win are taking the worst coach because of his color?
Yeah. Listen, the guy got fired, and now he's upset. I mean, it's so sad.
It is sad. It is.
Yeah, it's beyond sad.
So Joe, you said in your message you wanted to talk a little Tom Brady. I was celebrating Tom Brady, and your boy Jeffy has been ripping him for weeks. What's your take on Tom Brady retiring?
Well, first of all, he's not my favorite quarterback of all time. I will say this, but he might be in my top 5 favorite players of all time. But I think we got to start talking about Tom Brady in a different light. And I know Jeff's going to probably say no, but I think we got to start talking about Tom Brady as one of the greatest athletes we ever saw. Forget about football. I think he's in the top 10 greatest athletes we've ever seen.
I would agree. I put him, if you're going to go that route, to me, it's, guys like Jordan and Gretzky, Tom Brady, Walter Payton, guys who transcend their sport. So I would agree with you on that.
How about you, Jeff?
I don't think that he was one of the top 10 athletes because he stood behind a line of men, this offensive line. He wasn't running. He wasn't a running quarterback. He didn't do the thing. I think a wide receiver, just about any wide receiver, is a better athlete than most quarterbacks. I think defensive backs are better athletes than most quarterbacks. So to say that he was a top athlete in the NFL, I can't go for that. Sorry.
But as a quarterback, you got to be so much more, bro, than just throwing a football. You have to be in control. You have to be a leader. And this guy, I was a big Tom Brady fan when the Buccaneers, I think they were 6-9, or I'm sorry, 7-9. They were 7-9, and then he comes and wins the Super Bowl. I mean,
I agree.
I'm upset. I mean, that was just.
I agree, Joe. He took a team, took the same players that a different quarterback had, and won a Super Bowl with them.
Let me ask you something. Think of some of the quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Over the years, you're going to call these guys great athletes?
No, I think there's a misconception between the two of those things. What I think Joey means by athletes, I don't think he necessarily means the guy who's able to jump the highest and run the fastest. I think Joey just means in athletes and people who play the game. Maybe the better term might be top 10 players of all time. Would you say, Joe?
Okay, yeah, but that's here's another question about both of you.
Yeah.
What is the most what in all the sports? What do you think is the most pressurized position in all the sports?
Oh, it's football. It's quarterback. Easy.
You're the relief pitcher.
Now.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you why, Jeff. No, I'll tell you why I disagree with you.
That's you could disagree, but you can't tell me why.
No,
it's a subjective pick.
I'll tell you why I disagree. That relief pitcher isn't the most pressure. It's a pressure. Don't get me wrong, but your entire level of success is based on what you do yourself, how you throw the ball, how you get the ball past that guy. Yes, it is.
That's not true. No, it's
Football, you have to not only make sure that you do your job, you have to make sure that everybody else does their job. And if one person
go on.
Yeah, if one person fails, it makes it that much more difficult. I understand what you're going to tell me. Go ahead, by all means.
All right. First of all, the quarterback is the one that takes the heat and the glory, no matter what happens. If he gets good or he doesn't, whatever. Okay. But quarterback is one of 11 guys on the field. He's a position on a team, one of 11 people on the field. Okay. He takes the ball. He gets the ball from the center. He takes a few steps back. He hands it off to the running back. It's off to the races for the running back. He drops back. He has to avoid pressure. He has to throw the ball. He checks down a couple receivers waiting for an open receiver. Bang, he throws a 30, 40-yard pass. Maybe it gets intercepted. Maybe gets knocked down. Maybe he gets caught. All right, there's a 33 and a third % chance. Just three things that I mentioned right there. What could happen, okay? If the offensive line breaks down, the quarterback is nothing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback, and very, very rarely could command the team and win the game single-handedly because it's a team effort. So I don't think that – I think that while I understand why you're saying it, I think you're putting too much pressure on a quarterback and you're giving them too much credit for the pressure. I don't dig it because if one of those guys, if a receiver doesn't get open or if the right tackle doesn't pay attention and somebody slips past them, that's it. Play over.
I disagree. I agree and I disagree. But Joe, what was your thoughts on that, Joe? You find that obviously the quarterback position is the most pressure?
Well, because as Jeff put my son, that he's right. He gets credit when they win, and when they lose, he's the guy in the press conference. There's so much involved in being that guy.
Sure.
He's up on his pedestal. The catcher and the quarterback are similarities. If you think about it, they see the whole field. They control a lot. Even though he's not the pitcher, that catcher really controls most of the game.
Right, but would you call that the most pressure position in sports? I would think goalie, if you want. I would put goalie ahead of catcher if I was, you know what I mean?
I wasn't putting that. I was just comparing.
Oh, okay, I got you.
They both see the whole field.
Sure.
In similarities.
Yep, gotcha. Understood. No, I listen. I think the quarterback has the most pressure in any sport because he's responsible for all 11 guys, start to finish. You know, the game comes down to him reading the defense, him deciding, run the play, audible. There's so many things that intricate about playing the position of quarterback today. The offenses are so much more challenging, than they were 30, 40 years ago. But listen, it's probably subjective, so I don't disagree.
So I'm not going to say that's taking away anything from the quarterback by not agreeing that offensive and defenses are different. But you want to know something? Throw 8 guys up on the fucking box, all right, and keep them there. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden he sees this and he's like, okay, this is definitely a blitz. All right, so now he calls, a run or a pass or whatever. He changes the play at the line of scrimmage, but they end up dropping back, and he made the wrong call. And now the pass gets batted down or gets intercepted or whatever. Yes, one play, but maybe it's one play that starts, a momentum swing. You don't know, but it's just the quarterback is definitely an important position without a doubt. But I don't think that you could say that it's, the most pressure one because he's part of a team. He's part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's to me what it's all about. It's a part of a team. When you think of a relief pitcher, he's up there in a pressure situation, and it's just him and the ball. Where he throws the ball, catcher could call for anything. He makes a mistake, the ball slips out of his hand, whatever. But I understand what you're saying. I understand the comparison. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
I just don't think that quarterback is the most pressure position because what happened when there were running game and the quarterback was not doing what he does in today's game.
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw, he couldn't do what he did in today's game. He couldn't play today's game, I don't think.
Sure. No, I get it 100%. I get it. Joe, listen. So, Joe, bottom line, you where do you rank Brady in your annals of football players or quarterbacks? Where do you put him?
Well, are we picking our top favorite NFL players of all time? I mean, is that what I would put?
Well,
and I know my favorite not my favorite player.
Yeah.
The best player I think I've ever seen on a football field he wore the number 56.
Absolutely.
That's in my opinion.
100%.
That's in my opinion.
I agree.
I got to put number 20 there. Barry Sanders as another one in my top 5. And I'm not a big. My guys are Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, and John Elway. But just what he's done, Brady, is just it's unbelievable.
Sure. Yeah. Listen, 22 years alone is a big. I mean, the guy is 44 years old, threw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. I mean, come on. I mean, guys can't keep it together for 5 years. The guy did it for 22 years, 2 different teams, all these different players. Yeah. We can go all night with this one. 10 Super Bowl appearances and 7 wins. 5 MVPs in the Super Bowl. Come on, man. Just you can hate the guy who you want. To me, Joe, I think the best thing to say about Tom Brady, even if you don't like him, is he's the toughest and the best competitor I've ever seen.
Competitor, really?
Yes.
Really, toughest competitor.
Correct.
Dude, they fucking put bubble wrap around this motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Okay, you couldn't go near him.
Here we go to
It
bubble
was like
wrap.
a fucking thing at the Smithsonian.
Oh my God.
It was
Toughest
competitor. Don't go near him. Don't go near him. Don't. Yo.
Oh my God.
Yeah, stay back there. Stay back. Stay back.
Joe.
I got it back. Don't worry about it, Tom.
He did lose 2 Super Bowls to a Super Bowl and a Hall of Fame quarterback in Eli.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I'm not telling you that. Listen, nobody's winning every game. If you play 10 games in Super Bowl, you're not going to win all 10. And I'm happy you lost to Eli. Don't get me wrong. So it's all part of it. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the whole picture. And when you add it all up, the guy should have his own ceremony all by himself. One whole day, just Tom Brady, because that's how great he is.
I feel so sick right now.
Hey, Joe, tell us about the reboot. I was a little surprised. I thought you were possibly done with the Around the Kit. You got such a busy life. What made you change your mind and come on back?
I just really missed it. I really missed it. But to be honest with you, I missed everything about it. That's the bottom line. I really missed it. And I thought that was the right time. And I thought the break, sometimes in life, you go through situations, you need a break from something. You're doing your show. I think this is your 8th year doing the show in July.
July will be 8 years. That is correct. 8 years that we're doing this. Yeah.
That's a testament to this show. It's just great. But I just felt like I was almost in limbo. I needed a break. Was I going to come back? No, but I really got the urge, and I feel like I feel like I got this extra power now, just this extra energy. So we'll see what happens. We got a lot of shows booked, so it's good.
But it's not a weekly anymore, right? You're doing kind of every couple of weeks.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I was doing a show years ago where I had 4 guests a night, and I'm doing this big YouTube page, and I'm editing all my shows now, and I listen back, and I'm saying, how did I do 4 guests in a night? And it's just crazy. Now we're down to 1 main guest and 1 local drummer. It's just 2 hours every other week, but we're happy.
Good. I'm glad you're doing it again, Joe. It's a little bit of addicting, and it's a fun thing to do. Believe me, there's plenty of times I go, all right, this is it. This is the last year, or this is the last month, or I think. But I Thursday night show up, and I get the adrenaline, and I love doing it, and I don't know. Listen, when Jeff comes to me one day and says I've had enough, that's probably when it'll end.
Yeah, just keep it going. It's a great show.
Yeah, it's fun, and I get to listen to a lot of happy horse shit from the other side of the screen.
Yeah, I think the Giants. I think the NFL should retire the number 10. Just number 10 should be retired.
Number 10? Oh, for Eli, sure, I agree. I think I think for Eli they should retire the number. Nobody should ever wear 10 again.
Oh my God, you got to be fucking kidding me! Really?
Hey Joe, real fast, how did you I know you had to be disappointed with that game, but that was an incredible football game. Your Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs.
You had to bring it up.
Sorry, Joe, I had to bring it up.
I'm disgusted in I don't want to curse in the effing Bills defense. They play that prevent defense.
Oh.
How do you give Hill 30 yards? The guy's he's a midget, but he can't stop him. I wanted to break my TV in the basement. I swear to God.
I one thing I will say came out of that, Joe, for me was, and I've been a huge fan of Josh Allen since before the draft. He's definitely established himself as a top 2-3 quarterback in this league right now, and really left that field. Should have been headed to the AFC Championship game and possibly the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I know. I can't believe it. Horrible defense.
Yes, it was a terrible defense.
And I gotta be honest, I'm a Buffalo fan. I don't see them beating KC. I don't know. It's weird. Even next year, I don't know. Who knows?
Sometimes, guys, there are teams that your team just don't match up well against.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just teams you don't match up well against.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Joe. I don't know, but I'd be excited. I still think you got a good team, and you got yourself a top quarterback, so you'll be in it for a long time.
Yeah, guys, listen, I have to get back to work.
Yeah, Joe.
Appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
You got it, pal, Joe. Keep up the good work.
All right.
Joe Gansas.
See you later, Joe.
So, Jeff, lots of good words from Joe. He took us out of the Brian Flores thing. Do you feel like we've done all we can with Brian Flores?
For right now, because I found something over the course of the day that I wanted to bring up to you.
Go ahead, bring it up.
I found, I didn't see the whole thing. I didn't read the whole list, but it's not important because I read the good part of the list.
You did?
The important part of the list, yeah. The top 100 Major League Baseball players of all time, numbers 25 to 1. I'd like to go over it with you.
Go ahead.
And basically what I want to do is you tell me if they're in the right position or should be higher or lower on the list.
Okay.
You ready?
Yo, yeah, go ahead.
All right, number 25, pitcher.
All right, how about this? Can you do this for me first? Can you just run it down top to bottom? Because for me to say who belongs lower, I need to know who's there first. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying?
You
Just
want to
tell
go
me-
over the list first?
Just give me 25, 24, 23, all the way down, and then you can go back up, and then I'll tell you each guy whether I think they should be higher or lower, because I might say he should be higher, but there may be 24 other guys who are way better than him. So just give me the
I
list.
don't think so. This is a pretty impressive list.
Okay.
All right, so number 25, we have Christy Matheson. I'm not going to get into all of the stats because
Yeah.
it would take too long or why they're there. This was a head scratcher for me. Randy Johnson, Ricky Henderson,
Okay.
Tom Seaver at number 22. Number 21, Cy Young.
Wow.
Number 20, Rogers Hornsby. Cy Young, I want to read about him, man. This is somebody that's career started in 1890.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Number 20, Rogers Hornsby. Number 19, Frank Robinson. Number 18. You even want to take a guess who's number 18?
Number 18. If Frank Robinson's number 18. Barry Bonds.
Mike Schmidt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I don't think you would have had too much of a problem with this list, man.
Yeah, I gotta tell you. Go ahead. Yeah, keep going. But yeah, this is getting easier.
Number 17, Roger Clemens.
Wow.
Number 16, Joe Dimaggio. Number 15. Take a guess.
Mickey Mantle.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout.
Wow. Go ahead.
Number 14, Greg Maddux.
Okay.
Number 13, Ken Griffey Jr.
Wow.
Number 12, Hannes Wagner. Number 11, Pedro Martinez.
Wow.
Yeah. Number 10, Stan Musial. Number 9, Walter Johnson. Number 8, Barry Bonds, the son. Number 7, take a guess.
It's got to be Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle, number 7.
Yeah.
Number 6, Lou Gehrig. Number 5, Ted Williams. Number 4, Ty Cobb. Number 3, Hank Aaron, who I never knew actually started his Major League Baseball career in the Negro Leagues.
I didn't know that either.
He played on a team. You want to talk about racism and everything else? You ready for the name of this team?
Go ahead.
The Indianapolis Clowns.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not for nothing. You couldn't come up with a better name than Clowns.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, probably years ago when that team was actually named, different situation. Number 2, also in the Negro leagues, Willie Mays.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Number 1, the Babe.
Wow, I got a lot of issues with this one, Jeff. Wow, we got all night because I want to tear this apart. First off, Joe, this is Jeff. What Joe wants to know what is this list?
This is on ESPN.
Top 100 baseball players of all time.
That was top 100 Major League Baseball players of all time. That was number 25 through 1.
Okay. First problem I have.
Do you want to do the whole list?
Yeah. Let's go through it. I'm gonna give you a couple general things first.
What do you want to do? Do you want to do for 25 or do you want to do
25 down?
Okay, so Christy Mathewson, real quick, 373 and 188 with a 213 ERA, but only 2,500 strikeouts. But who the fuck knows what they were keeping notes on back then? So
yeah.
But Christy Mathewson looks like he pitched for about 16 years. Should he be higher or low on the list? Is he even a top 25 player? But see,
it's hard to say, Jeff, because you're right.
Was on the list.
But I'm going to say that I think he's too high on the list.
Okay, I could go with that too.
I think he's a little too high on the list.
With that too. All right, number 24, Randy Johnson, played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different teams, 303, 166 with a 3.29 ERA, 4,875 strikeouts in 41, 35 and a third innings. Okay, now my thoughts. Randy Johnson, great pitcher, intimidating pitcher, but I think shouldn't be in the top 25.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I have to agree with you on this one. I don't consider him an all-time great. You make the top 25 of all time, you have to be an all-time great player.
Where's Bob Gibson?
Yeah. Where's Sandy Koufax?
Yeah. Where's Whitey Ford? Where's a couple ones? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, number 23, Ricky Henderson. Real quick, we already know he has over 3,000 hits, 1,400 stolen bases. Real quick, played for the Athletics. Looks like 3 or 4 different turnarounds with the Athletics, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Padres, the Angels, the Mets, the Mariners, the Red Sox, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. 9 different teams from 1973 to 2003. Now, I think that he should be acknowledged, of course, for his stolen bases, but he played a lot of years, and I know he has the league record for most stolen bases in a year.
Yep,
but
a lifetime.
Yeah,
I'm a big Ricky Henderson guy. I think Ricky Henderson is one of the best players I ever watched. I think Ricky Henderson wasted a good part of his career being Ricky, as he called it. So the answer to me was Ricky Henderson would be right on that bubble for me, maybe. I don't put him as a top 25 player of all time. I just don't.
I give him top 25 just because there's no other base stealers that I know of so far. Maybe Hannes Wagner.
It's close.
Wow. So I give him a modern day nudge.
Okay.
Top 25.
Okay.
Number 22, Tom Seaver. Started his career in 67. Mets, Reds, White Sox, and ended him with the Red Sox. 311 game winner. 4,700 strikeouts. I think 22 is about where he should be.
Yeah, I would say he makes my top 25. I agree with you. In the 20s, 20 to 25, I could see him falling anywhere in there. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Okay, number 21, Cy Young. Started with a team called the Cleveland Spiders. Then went over to the St. Louis Cardinals. But before they were the Cardinals in 1899, they had a different team, different name. Okay, just a little trivia, do you happen to know the name of the team that he played for in St. Louis?
I know that at one point they were the St. Louis Browns.
Well, this was even before that. They were called the St. Louis Perfectos.
Oh, I never heard of that one, Jeff. Wow.
Okay, this is the teams that he played for. You ready?
Good.
Cleveland Spiders, St. Louis Perfectos, Boston Americans / Red Sox, Cleveland Naps, and Boston Rustlers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. 511 wins, 315 losses, wow. 2.63 ERA.
It's a lot of losses, by the way.
Well, when you're
315. I mean, it's a lot of games played, but 315 losses is
826 decisions
Oof.
in his career
Yeah.
that spanned from 1890 to 1911.
Wow.
There might not even be a picture of this guy. Okay.
I don't think they even made drawings of him. I think they didn't even have crayons at that point.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Bro.
Wow, this is a great list. Go ahead.
Okay. Number 20, Rogers Hornsby, somebody who I don't know much about.
Yeah, me either.
Second baseman. He started his career in 1915. Looks like he ended it with the St. Louis Browns in 1937. Listen, I have no choice but to say I agree with number 20.
Yeah, I have no choice because I don't know enough about it. I know a great player and all that, but it's a weird era for me. It's hard for me to give you other than stats. So it's stats in that era to me just a little overplayed, but go ahead.
Okay, number 19, Frank Robinson. Played for since 1956 to 1976, a 20-year career, 586 home runs. I'm going to say he might be a little low on this list.
I agree with that. I agree with you. Frank Robinson would probably make my top 10. Having never seen him play, and I got to meet him when he was a total tool, but the guy was one of the greats. I mean, if you listen to anybody talk, my dad, my uncles, you read anything about that, the guy had all the tools. So I'm going to tell you, he should definitely be a little higher on this list.
I'm surprised they didn't put him higher because he's black. And I'm not saying it to me. In today's day and age and everything else, I'm surprised he didn't make it a little higher up the list.
Yeah,
because he was black and because maybe there's limited black guys further up the list. But that's just my thought of the way the fucked up world is today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to number 18. One that I definitely do not agree with. Mike Schmidt. 548 home runs in his career.
Wow.
1,595 RBIs. He started in 72, ended in 89. He was one of the only guys that had stayed with the same team throughout his career. But I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable putting him up in number 18.
I agree with you. I think Mike Schmidt's a hell of a ball player. Absolutely a Hall of Famer. Not better than Pete Rose, not better than Johnny Bench, should not be that high up on the list for my. I mean, again, a good glove, great bat. I just can't put him that high.
Also, let's make mention. Right, you just said Pete Rose not in the top 25.
I see that. Yeah. Is he on the list at all, Jeff?
I don't know. I have to go back and look at the list, Tom.
Okay.
Number 17, Roger Clemens played with the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, and the Houston Astros. 354 and 184, a 312 ERA, 4,672 strikeouts in 4,900 innings. The problem I have with him is the time frame in which he pitched.
Yeah.
Why are you going to put him in number 17 but not vote him into the Hall of Fame?
Here's my problem. He's not better than Bob Gibson. He's not better than Sandy Koufax.
Numbers wise, I think he blows them out of the water.
Yeah, but again, I watched him pitch. Again, I think Clemens is a great pitcher. He might even make my top 25 if I, did it right. And I think we should challenge each other next week to come up with our own top 25 of all time.
Let's do that after the Super Bowl. Let's do it only because you know why. What's that?
Give yourself a chance to work it up?
Well, no, not at all. I just think that this is something that maybe we need to do a little research.
I agree with you. Yeah.
If we're going to do a top 25, I don't have a problem doing the top 25, but I'd rather get through the Super Bowl first.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. I think excuse me. Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom, we're throwing down the top 25. We're beating up on the top 25 list from ESPN. Boy, God forbid we went through the top 100. I can't even imagine what we find. Roger Clemens is an all-time great as far as I'm concerned. I just can't put him ahead of Bob Gibson and some of these other guys. But all right, God, I'm not going to kill that. I'm not going to kill that one, Jeff.
No, there's no reason to, but I just think that if you're going to put him in there, then you need to put him in the Hall of Fame. If you got him up this high, I don't see Pete Rose. unless I overlooked him and didn't realize it. I read the list twice. I don't remember saying anything about it. I just don't see the point of putting him that high up the list and not putting him in the Hall of Fame. Number 16, you ready?
Go ahead.
Joe Dimaggio. I know he lost some time because of World War II.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 years. I'm not 100% sure, 2 or 3 years. He played in 10 World Series. Oh, so he had to miss at least maybe, I don't know. He had played 13 seasons. He played in the World Series 10 times.
Wow.
56-game hitting streak, 360 home runs, by comparison to some of these guys in his era.
Yep.
Not that many home runs, but in today's age, would definitely be enough to get you in the Hall of Fame. A little over 37 on the RBIs, a career average of 325. I think he's about where I would imagine him to be on a top 100 list. I think he belongs within the top 25, maybe a little closer to 25 than 15.
My only problem with this, Jeff, is I think he's a better ball player than Ted Williams. Ted Williams is a great hitter, but not a great outfielder. I mean, good, but not Joe Dimaggio. That's my only problem with it. If Dimaggio was 16 and Williams was 17, I would agree with it. But Williams is too high up on the list for me to put Dimaggio that far down. But I agree with you. Dimaggio is about where he should be in that range. I wouldn't argue this one.
Okay, number 15,
this one I have a big problem with.
Yeah. Okay. 305 career batting average, 310 home runs, and 816 RBIs in what will be his 11th year. Mike Trout.
Yeah.
I don't know how old Mike Trout is. I know he's a little on the younger side.
28.
He's already won 3 MVPs.
Yep.
He finished in the top 5 of MVP balloting for 9 straight years. And listen, I mean, honestly, I don't know much about him other than he's a modern day player and a modern day player that's still playing. I don't think, even if he's good, me personally, you didn't earn your right to be mentioned with 24 others that are in the Hall of Fame.
No. And my bigger problem with him, let me take a look at this. Let's see. So
he's 30, by the way. He's 30.
Okay, yeah, he is 30. You're right. I'm seeing that now. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, Jeff. Last year he played 36 games out of 162. The year before he played 53 out of 60. The year before that, 134 out of 162, 140 out of 162, and 114 out of 162. Again, a great baseball player, no doubt, but has not done enough to be, to me, top 25 in baseball are pretty much immortals. You have to be at the top of your era. Think about it. You have what, 3-4 eras of baseball? The Babe Ruth era, the Mantle era.
He's
the
pretty
70s.
much the top of his era, I would say.
Correct. But Jeff, it's 10 years in, 11 years in. It's not enough time.
No, it's definitely not enough time for him to be mentioned in that spot. But
That's my point.
And he doesn't have that many games under his belt. He misses a lot of games.
Correct.
My phone is giving me the 10% scream.
Okay.
So we're going to move this one a little bit. Greg Maddux at number 14. 355 wins, 316 on the ERA, 33.71 on the strikeouts. As a modern-day pitcher, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. He started in 1986, and he ended his career in 2008. But as a modern-day pitcher goes, he may be the best modern-day pitcher. Might be right. That we'll see for a while.
You might be right. 355 wins a lot. He deserves to be in the list, Jeff. Maybe it's too high. I still don't think he belongs ahead of some of these guys, but he's one I wouldn't argue with you.
Okay, number 13, Ken Griffey Jr. I don't have a problem. I actually think he should be a little higher on the list.
I might agree with you on that one. I'd have to put my list together, but he will definitely be in consideration in the top 10 I've ever of all time.
Here's a number for you: 630 home runs. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. Number 12, Honus Wagner. 101 home runs, 1,732 RBIs, 3,420 hits, a career batting average of 328. The Flying Dutchman is actually, if Wagner were a young player today, he would be an on-site. He was stockily built with wide shoulders, barrel-chested, bow legs, and huge hands. He did everything well. Superb defense, elite average, 8 batting titles, elite power, 6 slugging percentage titles, is one of the best base runners ever, 722 steals, 23 steals, 252 triplets. All that, Wagner is definitely known for his sale of his rare baseball card, which sold
Yes.
more than $6 million.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. I think he should be a little higher on the list.
Yeah, I'd have to think about it, but yeah, I don't have a problem. Again, when you get to those kind of guys, you got to go by what you're reading. We haven't seen it. Guys, with Jeff and Tom, we're breaking down the top 25 of ESPN's top 100 baseball players. We got some issues with it. Stick around, listen to it all, and we'll keep going. Yeah, Jeff.
Okay, number 11. I'm just going to skip right over this one because I don't think it even deserves to be mentioned in the top 25. But Pedro Martinez, real quick, 219 and 100. I don't really get the point. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Number 10, Stan Musial, 475 home runs, 1,951 RBIs, a 331 batting average. He could have hit 300 with a fountain pen, cracked Joe Garagiola. And hitting 300 is what Musial did year after year. From what I know of him, the guy is pretty good fucking hitter. So I'm going to say he's flying right there in the top 10.
Yeah, again, he'll make my top 25. I don't know if he make my top 10, but a great hitter.
Okay, number 9, Walter Johnson. 417, 279, 3,509 strikeouts, 5,914 in the third innings, 2.17 ERA, probably the most impressive stat out of all of them if you have 417 wins and your ERA is under 2.25.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Number 9, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. Number 8, Barry Bonds. Okay, won the MVP 3 times. Some people consider him the home run champ, 298 batting average. Started playing in 86, hung it up in 2007. I feel as though he's like Clemens. If you're going to put him this high on the list, you got to put him in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. And again, I think Bonds is one of the best players I ever saw. I think Griffey should go ahead of him for that reason, Jeff. You're 100% right.
Number 7, Mickey Mantle, 17 years with the Yankees, 536 home runs, 1,509 RBIs, 298 hitter. What more could be said about Mickey Mantle? We know all about him. You know, a lot of people still consider him one of the best baseball players of all time. Evidently, by the list, he's number 7. I think he should be higher.
Yeah, I tell you what. Yeah, Mantle would be a little higher on my list too. I don't have a problem at 7, but I will say my list he probably wound up a little higher.
Okay, number 6, the Iron Horse. There's not much more that I can say about Lou Gehrig, other than to say that if his career didn't get cut short, you may be talking about the greatest baseball player of all time, and nobody would have been able to touch him in my eyes. 493 home runs, 1,995 RBIs, a 340 career average, 2,721 hits. I mean, I read his stats, I get fucking goosebumps, man. The guy is just incredible.
And played every single day, played every inning of every game.
For 2,130 straight games.
Yeah, I tell you, my only problem with it, I think he should be a lot higher. To me, I got to tell you, if he's not 2, he's 1. If he's not 1, he's 2. So, to me, I think the only problem with Lou Gehrig at that point is he's too low on the list.
Okay, here's one. Ted Williams, number 5.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, he lost some time.
Yep.
Because of the
2 wars.
The 2 wars he played from 1939 to 1942, 1946 to 1960. All right, let's just compare him to Gehrig real quick. Career batting average 344 for Williams, 340 for Gehrig, 521 home runs for Ted Williams, 493 home runs for Gehrig, who played from only 16 years, where Williams played 3 and then another 14, 17 years plus.
Okay.
1,839 RBIs for Williams. For Gehrig, 1,995 RBIs with Babe Ruth in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Gehrig, 2,721 hits. Ted Williams, 2,654 hits. I'm sorry. I leapfrog Gehrig over Williams.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they're not in the same category. They're not in the same category. Ted Williams is a great hitter. Don't get me wrong. Maybe the best stick of all time, pure stick. But as an all-around player, he doesn't deserve to be in the same category as Lou Gehrig.
Number 4 on the list, Ty Cobb.
Hard to argue.
Yeah, hard to argue without a doubt. Number 3, Hank Aaron. All right. In the article, if you could read this on ESPN, do yourself a favor and read it.
I will.
And they said, where is it? Let me see. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Okay. When Aaron's pursuit of Babe Ruth's career home record culminated in number 715 on April 8th, 1974, it was an iconic event in American history. And yet Aaron, who was not really a home run hitter,
Wow. Come on. Really? I said that? That's weird.
Did he do this by accident? 755 home runs?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whatever. Okay. Number 2, Willie Mays. 301 batting average, 660 home runs, 1,909 RBIs. He came in number 2. I don't have a problem with that. I would say that he's a top 5 player of all time.
Sure.
So I think that he was okay. Number 1, the Babe, one of only 3 players to hit 700 home runs. As a hitter, 342 career average, 714 home runs, 2,214 RBIs, 2,873 hits. As a pitcher, 94 and 46, 2.28 ERA, 488 strikeouts in 1,221 innings pitched. What could be said about Babe Ruth? We could do a show about Babe Ruth and still not touch everything.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Babe Ruth being number 1 on any list for any reason.
Yep.
So I think that's I think it's a good list.
Yeah, I would tell you that I have some issues with it, Jeff. A couple of glaring ones: Mike Schmidt, Mike Trout, Pedro Martinez are probably the 3 that jump off the page that probably don't deserve to be in the top 25. Would you agree with that?
I believe it. I go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the rest of them, they may be out of order, so to speak, but I don't think there's too many egregious ones. I mean, again, I think Lou Gehrig is just a little too far down the list for me.
I agree. Lou Gehrig, in my eyes, I know it's should be top 5 without a doubt. At least top 5, if not top 3.
Yeah, I totally agree. Again, I think Ted Williams is a little high, but Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, there's some modern day players like Jr., Barry Bonds. They should be on this list. Clemens. A few, like I said, few guys I think are missing. Bob Gibson, and I'm just trying to. I'm sure there's a bunch of other guys in my brain.
Let me ask you, where would you say you put Reggie Jackson?
Jackson was a great player in Oakland. He would make the top 50. He's not making my top 25. Was not a great outfielder. And later in his career, was a home run guy, but not a big average guy and a terrible outfielder later in his career.
Well, listen, everybody has a decline, but I got to say, you know what? What he did in the World Series with 3 home runs, to me, definitely gets him a few fucking spots up the ladder.
Well, again, he make my top 50. He might make the top 30. I'd have to, again, I'm going to sit down over the next week and 2 and put together my list. And Frank Catalano, you can easily make Lou Gehrig number 1 in my, Jeff and I have had this conversation. He convinced me. I would never have thought it. But when you lay out that guy's numbers and how great they were every year, right up till he got sick, boy, it is hard to put. I mean, I got to give Babe number 1, but boy, it's 1A and 1B as far as I'm concerned.
Look, how about this, Frank? When you get a chance, go on, I think, was it stats.com? But look up Lou Gehrig stats, and they give him a projection over 162 game season. Add up the 3 years, the difference between, I think it was 3 years difference between him and Babe Ruth. Add up the 3 years, and you'll see some incredible numbers, man. It's unbelievable. Like, just, if I remember, if we added up right, he was actually the better player over Ruth.
I'll give you his 100. I got it in front of me, Jeff. Lou Gehrig's 162 games. Ready?
Okay.
He averaged 140. Average was 162 games. Let's see, 141 runs, 204 hits, 40 doubles, 12 triples, 37 homers.
He wasn't a little guy.
No, that's my point.
He looked like a big, bulky guy. Like you see clips of him and be like, how the fuck did he run? And especially with those pants he was wearing back then.
Yeah, no, Frank. It's there's a bunch of pitchers on the list. It's the top 100 players. 37 homers, 149 RBIs a year.
Yeah, that's insane. Right there. That's insane.
Yeah, 8 stolen bases a year.
12 triples, but only 8 stolen bases.
113 walks, 59 strikeouts a year. The guy averaged. The most strikeouts he ever had in the season, Jeff, was 84. And then everything else was in the 60s or lower.
Yeah, it's fucking sick, man.
I mean, you just and his batting average was 340. I mean, I one of these days we'll do the roof thing again just for the fun of it. But yeah, I have to tell you, it is hard to look at that. And realistically, I mean, dude, right up to the year 35. Now think about it. You're right. He could have had another 3 years before he had to. At 35 years old, this is 35. This is his. He started at 23. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 years, Jeff. At age 35, he hit his stats were 115 runs, 170 hits, 32 doubles, 6 triples, 29 homers, 114 RBIs, struck out 75 times with a 295 batting average. At 35, just getting sick. Just about to get sick. Because the next year he only played 8 games. Jeff, That's not bad.
So he was actually probably sick in his last full year of baseball.
I would agree. He probably was just starting to feel the effects of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he only played 157 games. Don't forget, that was when he only played 154 game seasons.
Yeah.
So
the guy's just unfucking believable, man.
I agree with you. No way, Paige. Yeah, I agree, Matt, Frank. So, when the Super Bowl's over, Jeff's right. We'll turn our attention to baseball. And Jeff and I are going to put our top 25 to list. And we'd like to have everybody do it. We'll get a thing out there. People can send it to us, or they can come on the air and they can talk about it. Maybe we'll get a panel of people on to do their top 25s. We'll see how it works out. I think that would be fun to do.
It's everybody's going to look at that list differently.
Oh, of course.
And for different reasons.
Sure, people are going to put catching up there. Let me and all those lists, there wasn't one catcher in the top 25.
You're talking Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
Johnny Bench.
Yep.
Okay. That one of those two guys you would have thought would have definitely been in that fucking.
Yeah, Bench was at 29, Joey said.
29?
Yeah. Which again is not bad, but you don't have one catcher up there. There's not, obviously there's no Mariano Rivera in the top 25. To me, Mariano Rivera is a better pitcher than Pedro Martinez. And I might even argue with you about Randy Johnson and Rivera's who's more valuable.
Well, listen, probably Mariano Rivera probably threw for a fraction of the innings that some of these other guys.
Right, but to your point, no bigger pressure situation. The guy was the biggest weapon in 4 World Series. I mean, there's no big, but it's an interesting list. Again, I love Mike Trout. I just don't think he belongs there yet. Pedro's a great pitcher. Does not belong there. Schmidt, I love Mike Schmidt as a kid. Doesn't belong there. 2 weeks from now, we'll get through the Super Bowl, and Jeff and I will put together our top 25s. And I'm going to have a hard time at the top of this list. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a hard time the top 3 or 4 giving you my and you said it, Jeff. A lot of people are going to value pitching more. Some people are going to value catching more. Some people are going to take the guy who hits more home runs. The idea of what your top 25 is, or top 100 for that matter, everybody's got their criteria,
Definitely, without a doubt, man. It depends on what you think is more important for the game.
Correct.
But what's actually more important is I don't think that these younger guys and modern day guys should be up within the top 25. As I'm not a baseball guy, but I feel as though that in the sport of baseball, the top 25 is almost sacred.
I agree with you.
Almost sacred.
Agreed. To me, the top 25 on that list have to be almost immortals. Guys who are, when you say their name, Frank Shamsky's not in the top 25. When you say their name, it's like, yeah, no doubt. Like, there's no Hall of Famer, no doubt. Like, there's no questions. That guy's the best. Yeah, I agree. They have to be immortal, not great players, immortal players.
But because, and listen, Frank, evidently you're definitely paying attention to what we're saying. I guess, especially us, whatever. But my point being is that it's baseball. It's like a sacred sport almost. I feel it's not like football where things happen and players evolve. Baseball is it was so raw back then, and these guys were probably hitting a baseball that weighed like 2 pounds because the pitches didn't look like they were hitting speeds like they do today when they pitch the ball. And, it was just a different game and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They actually played for the love of the game. And I think that's why you had so many more legitimate leaders back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think of a team, if you were drafting today's players, right, versus players of yesteryear, because you're starting a team, who are you going to want as your team captain?
If I was starting a team today and I could pick anybody all time, it's Lou Gehrig.
Yeah, I hear you. You get Lou Gehrig, the Babe.
Yeah. Mantle. Hank Aaron. I mean, I can give you 7 guys off that list. I mean, easily make my top 100.
Bryce Harper, Mike Trout.
Yeah, they're good players. Don't get me wrong. Are they all timers? Again, I can't put guys who are playing currently on that list because the final records of their career have not been gotten yet. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, I can't put Mike Trout in there, because he hasn't finished. What if this is it? What if it ended today? Is that enough? No, I can't.
I don't see him having enough to be a top 25.
Yeah, it needs to be. They need to be immortals. They need to be guys that are just no brainers. Listen, you say Cy Young. Neither one of us saw him play, but what do we say? All guys are immortal. The guy's got awards named after him. Of course, he's an all-time great.
Of course, but you look at baseball and you look at the stats. Okay, a lot of the records in baseball, sometimes you have to question the accuracy of the record.
Sure.
Right, only because of the record keeping and
do you know that home runs back in the day, Babe Ruth era, if you hit a ball and it hit the ground and bounced over the fence, today that's a ground rule double. Back then it was a home run.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I don't think Babe Ruth was hitting home runs that way.
I'm just saying there were different rules to home runs.
Listen, listen. The home run wasn't the home run until Babe Ruth came on the scene. And
correct, 100%.
So out of Babe Ruth's 700 and something home runs, I'm sure not nearly as many as you think. Well,
I would agree. I bet you there was 5 that were done that way, if that many.
Yeah, and some of these guys they had such a natural swing because they didn't have the analytics that they have today to hook some guy up to a fucking computer and just, okay, go ahead, just start swinging the bat so that we could, measure this and take that and do that. And, this is a guy that just walked up to the plate, no batting gloves, no pine tar on the fucking bat.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
A raw piece of wood, got up, either hit the ball or didn't hit the ball.
That's it. Yeah. And to your point earlier, while we're big football fans on this show and we feature football, there's nothing like baseball because think about this way, Jeff. We're talking about guys today who were probably either for sure done playing. A lot of them maybe have been dead before we were even born, yet we know their names. We know some of their stats, and we know their place in history. If you go to any other sport, let me stay with football. How many people do you think know who Ollie Matson was, or Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch, or some of those guys who pre 1960? The baseball is special because it still celebrates their past.
Yeah. Listen, football didn't start till the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we've come to realize that. Yeah,
I'd like to find somebody to challenge me on that one.
and it's starting to get to the point where if it wasn't a Super Bowl in the '90s, it doesn't count.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? How many
Yeah.
times you turn on the TV and see the 1975 Super Bowl being played? You don't. Go to NFL.com on a regular night.
That knows these people.
Yeah.
You know, look, that you said about a certain players, you know their name. The only player that I know of that still holds, and he don't even hold a record anymore. His record was eclipsed, God knows how many times and how long ago, would be Jim Brown. He is like the only player that is still acknowledged.
Yes.
In the NFL, and what is he? He's got to be at least 10 on the list. I mean, did Emmitt Smith like double his yardage? Didn't he have like 8,000 yards or something?
I think he retired with you're right, dude. I'm not go to the NFL network or even ESPN and when they do it all the time, they show old football, old Super Bowl games. It's never anything past the 2000s. And even then, the only reason someone of them is because of Brady retired. I'm telling you, you don't see any of those old games anymore.
That's because we go as far back as fucking Madden.
Yeah, you're 150% right, Jeff. Your theory's right. So is Frank. They just don't show it. But though that's the difference between baseball and football is, you're right, Jeff. I think when Jimmy Brown retired, he had like 9,000 or 10,000 yards.
I think it was 8,000 yards.
You might be right. And Walter Payton broke his record. Walter Payton, I think, finished with 14 or 15,000, and then it's gone up from there. I know that Emmitt Smith beat it, and Barry Sanders was close to beating it, but then he retired. But
Emmitt Smith, what do you have, like 15 or 16,000?
I think so. NFL.
But he holds the record now, right?
I believe he still does.
Yeah, because the running back position has been devalued.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see any running back now.
Let me give you the top. You want the top 10?
Yeah, go ahead if you got it.
Okay, let me know if you're surprised by any of these.
Okay.
Top 10 all-time rushers, Jeff. At 18,355 yards is Emmitt Smith.
Oh, 18,000. Wow. Okay.
16,726 is Walter Payton.
Wow. Big difference.
Yep. 16,000 yards, Frank Gore.
Wow.
15,260.
No. Frank Gore only because he played like 39 seasons.
Yes, he still might be playing.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders with 15,269 yards. Number 5, a little surprising to me, and he's still out there trying to play. Adrian Peterson at 14,914.
Yeah.
Curtis Martin, one of your favorite players, 14,101 as number 6.
He was a good running back, man.
Huh?
He was a great running back.
He was a great running back. Number 7, LaDainian Tomlinson, 13,684. A little surprising to me. That's number 7. Number 8, Jerome Bettis, the bus, 13,662. Number 9 is Eric Dickerson. I thought he'd be a little lower on this list. 13,259. And number 10, Tony Dorsett, 12,739. Jimmy Brown is number 11.
And what's his number?
12,312.
Shit, I thought that he had like 8,000 yards.
The rest of the top 25, Jeff, I won't give you the yardages. Marshall Falk, Edgerrin James, Marcus Allen, Franco Harris, Thurman Thomas, Fred Taylor. That's a little surprising to me. Steven Jackson, John Riggins, Corey Dillon, OJ Simpson, LaShawn McCoy at 11,000, Warwick Dunn, 10,967, Ricky Waters, and Jamal Lewis. Those round out the top 25 players of all time as far as yards from scrimmage.
Does the recognition of O.J. Simpson as one of the NFL's career rushing leaders seem fucked up to you, knowing that what he was accused of and everything else that he went through? What's up?
Hey, John. Hey, John, how you doing, buddy? The funny part is when O.J. Simpson retired, he was number 2 to Jimmy Brown.
Shit happens, bro.
Yeah, and he's dropped in that time. He retired in 79. He's dropped down 20 spots or 19 spots to 21. Yeah, I think OJ, yeah, he obviously, well, first off, a lot of people never got to see the guy play. Let's be honest. 2, yeah, I think with the whole trial and the way he's acted and going to jail and the killings and the robbings. Yeah, I mean, OJ, unfortunately, but you watch OJ Simpson, go watch an OJ Simpson video, and boy, oh boy, that guy can run with a football.
Listen, I'm not saying, I mean, listen, evidently by the numbers he put up there, but I mean, I want you to think of this. He's still in the NFL Hall of Fame, if I'm correct, right?
I believe, I think he stripped him of his Heisman Trophy, but I believe he's still in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Okay. So let's just assume, until we can verify either way if he's in the Hall of Fame or not, okay?
Okay.
You'll put him in the Hall of Fame, but yeah, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens cannot make the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Very true. Can't argue that. Let's see. I'm checking to see if he's still in the Hall of Fame. Let's see. Okay, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Let's see. Visit the Hall of Famers. Okay. Find Hall of Famers. Let's see if he's still in here. Filter. Let's see. Quick position, draft round, high school, college, draft pick team. Let's go Buffalo Bills. Why is the Buffalo Bills up there? Why isn't there a Buffalo? Excuse me, Jeff. Sorry, I'm looking it up. Okay, Buffalo Bills has 12 Hall of Famers. Jim Kelly, James Lofton, Marv Levy, Terrell Owens, Bill Polian, Andre Reed, Billy Shaw, O.J. Simpson, class of 1985, and Bruce Smith. So O.J. is still in the Hall of Fame.
Wait a minute. O.J. made the Hall of Fame only a few years before he fucking decapitated Nicole Brown.
Well, he retired in 79, so that was the earliest he could go in.
And then just a few years after that, less than 10 years later, he's chopping people's heads.
1994, that's correct.
Wow.
9 years later, you would think it was a lot longer than that. You're right, but it was short time.
Man, hey, what OJ do in all that time off between getting in this Hall of Fame and, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, he killed Nicole. Really? You don't kill Nicole, huh? Shit.
He killing people. I met the man. He couldn't have been nicer to me. I have to tell you.
OJ?
Yeah, I met OJ. Ever tell you that story?
If you did, I don't remember, but
yes,
please, for the sake of the show.
I did. I walked into I was at a company Christmas party, and it was at a place called Canistell's on Park Avenue South and 19th Street, I think it was, in Manhattan. And we were sitting down. There was a whole bunch. There had to be 20 guys, and all of a sudden, this whole group of people came in, and the last guy in the group, right behind this really attractive blonde woman, was O.J. Simpson.
Right.
And OJ, they come in, they sit down, and I'm like, my boss, my buddy Pete, at the time goes, "That's OJ. There's the juice." So I was like, "Wow, it's OJ." So I was starstruck. Now this is like, I must have been in this is 92, 93. This is definitely a couple of years before. So he goes, "Come on, let's go over and say hello." So I said, "All right." I'm nervous. We go over. He's just sitting down, just getting ready to sit down, and my boss goes up to him and says, "Hey, Juice, my buddy's a big fan. Could he take a picture with you?" He goes, "Are you kidding? Come on." And he grabs me and my boss, and somebody from his party gets some tickets. He goes, "Boy, you guys should have played on my offensive line. I'd still be playing." Takes the pictures with us. We take 2 pictures with him just to make sure. This is in the days of, taking pictures and going to
you don't see that you get them developed, right?
This isn't showing up on your phone. So I finished the roll up. The next day I'm in the automat. I put it in. I get the pictures back. I think it was, let's say it was 20 pictures. 18 come out. The only 2 that didn't come out was me and OJ.
Oh, man. Come on.
Me and the Juice did not come out. But he I mean, he's one of those things like he's ready to sit down. He's got a whole bunch of people. And he got up.
Seconds.
Couldn't have been put his arms around us. No knives involved, Jeff. No knives involved.
No knives, no gloves, no knives,
no gloves, no knives. No yelling, screaming. Huh?
Was he big?
Yeah. He was a very muscular guy, big ass hands. Holy cow, like mitts. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Well, you got to hold on to the football, man.
Yeah, well,
Another thing,
and apparently the knife.
the knife, pulling somebody's head back like this, and the knife. It's not easy.
Seconds.
Yeah, my only real Frank, you're lucky because my only real remembrance of OJ was his last year in San Francisco. I think he was the starter in 1979 for the 49ers, and he didn't play well. I don't even know if he made through the whole season. But that's my only real memory of OJ playing the game. I remember him more like the Superstars competition and being on TV and
The
movies and
Superstars
shit.
competition, right? Remember?
Yeah,
that?
he was all over the Superstar, but not even playing or participating. He was
The
him
MC.
and Bruce. Yeah, him and Bruce Jenner would MC the thing. How crazy is that? Yeah, and I met LT too, and he was a dick. So I love LT. He's my favorite player and probably the greatest player.
I'll be on crack.
But yeah, he was
10 seconds.
Thank you. Oh. Okay. But not the nicest guy in the whole world. So
Shame, man.
yep. So Hard Rock Sports, Jeff and Tom hanging in there. We're doing our thing, having some fun here on a Thursday night. I'm glad that you guys joined that and joined in with us. We're having a lot of good stuff here tonight. We got still a few more things to do before we wrap it up. And thanks to everybody for hanging in there and doing the thing with us. So thank you, everybody. A couple more things for me, Jeff. I want to go over do a little bit on Johnny Zazula. Do you know who John Zazula is?
Of course, man. Megaforce Records and a pioneer in the metal world and everything else.
Well, I'll let you. You want to? I mean, I don't remember a lot of Johnny Z from back in the day. To be honest with you, my knowledge of John came up probably more. I was not really a huge thrash guy, and he seemed to be dabbling in the thrash world. I never made it out to his record store. But when you look back at what he accomplished by, signing and getting Metallica's name out there, they got their first album out there, and some of the subsequent bands like Anvil and Freely's Comets and Warren Haynes and a whole bunch of other people, Overkill. I mean, Jeff, just a huge mark on the East Coast metal world.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Big responsible guy with all of this stuff, pushing a lot of these bands. And, he was 69 years old or something like that when he died. He really wasn't
69 years old. I looked a little older than his actual age, but yeah, pretty much. Definitely lived life to the fullest. And, just a guy who took a band from San Francisco who had definitely a different sound, Jeff, believed in them enough to fly them across the country, sign them to a record deal, make an album, and put it out there. And that band become probably the biggest American metal band. And arguably some people say the biggest metal band of all time. Obviously besides Sabbath, but especially in the States. But God, a huge pioneer.
Yeah, he definitely had a hand in pushing it without a doubt. And yes, his wife did die about a year ago.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It's a shame, man, but they did a lot for the music scene without a doubt.
Yeah. And, again, a huge impact on, I'm just answering a text message.
What's that?
I did tell, yes, I did. I did. Louis Pig is listening. He can't comment because he's suspended from Facebook, but he wanted me to say you should have told the LT story. But Anthrax, another good one. I'll tell you that Johnny Z and his wife, will probably never get the big ink, but guys like Brian Slagle from Metal Blade Records and Eddie Trunk, these are people that kind of learned at the knee and who kind of hung around the store and part of Megaforce, if you really look at some of the bigger bands, especially the ones that were in this area, the Overkills and the Anthrax, and they get their start because of Johnny Z and Megaforce.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. He definitely pushed a lot of different bands, and it's Thank God we had somebody like him to get some of the bands, or else, man, the music scene would have really sucked.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I would tell you, interesting. But so yeah, we I sent the message out to the guys at the Old Bridge Militia. I never met John Z, never got to interview him. I think I had sent a request, but never got a response. So I'll say that I was sorry to hear him go. Kind of doesn't probably seem like he was very, very close to his wife, and there's a lot of, I believe in a lot of that. One spouse goes, the other one doesn't usually follow too far behind, and seems like they're up there now, opening a new record store and getting out the new metal album. So rest in peace, Johnny Z. Thank you for you and your wife's contributions to the metal world. Guys like Jeff and I, who have been huge metal fans, we really do appreciate it, and you'll be always celebrated here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. So, Jeff, I want to get on a couple more topics before we call it an end of the night. Super Bowl, Jeff, 2 weeks.
Blog Talk Radio.
Now, we're not going to break down the Super Bowl here because we are going to be doing that Saturday. But give me your initial impressions of the game. I mean, is this a great matchup? Is this going to be a fun football game? What's your thoughts?
I'm hoping it's going to be a fun game, without a doubt. But I don't think it's just the matchup that everybody wanted to see.
What would you think the matchup, Kansas City and
Kansas City and whoever? I don't know whether the Rams or the 49ers would have been the team that everybody wanted to see. But listen, as long as Brady is not in it and the Patriots ain't in it, it's good for me.
Now, was this a game that you'll target to make sure you watch? Is it
I'll definitely fucking watch the game without it.
Now, what was your thoughts on the two games from Sunday? The first game, obviously a big surprise, tale of two halves. The Kansas City dominates right up till that last play of the first half, and then it seems to go downhill. Bad move by Andy Reid going for that. Would you have kicked the field goal there, extend the lead a little bit? Do you think being aggressive there was a good thing? What was your thoughts?
It's the playoffs. I mean, you don't want to just roll over and die. Everybody's trying to get points and try to build a lead and try to put the other team away. But sometimes slow and steady wins the race. So if you got a choice of taking a chance or going after a field goal and getting 3 points, maybe sometimes you're better off chipping away at it or building up a lead slowly instead of just trying to pile it on. Just please refresh my memory real quick because I didn't see that whole game. What had happened again real quick?
For that play?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're up 21-3. It's 13 seconds left, so if it's pretty ironic. They got the ball first and goal at about the 5 or 7 yard line, and they're going to run. They have 13 seconds, so they could theoretically get off 3 plays. They run 2 plays, and they're down to 3 seconds. They don't get in the end zone. They're about the 3 or 4 yard line at this point. No timeouts, and they have the choice at that point to either kick the field goal or go for the touchdown and see what happens. They throw a pass essentially behind the line of scrimmage to Tyreek Hill, who gets tackled at the 1 yard line, and the half ends.
Well, not for nothing. If you're talking about behind the line of scrimmage and he made it to the 1 yard line, he almost got in. But me personally, I would have definitely, with 3 seconds left, I would have kicked the field goal.
100%.
Walk away with some points. Walk away with something.
Yeah, I think at that point you're almost putting the game away. Yeah, Frankie, I agree. I think at some point you gotta put the points on the board, but I think it's arrogance. I think that Andy Reid just was arrogant. But if you're gonna go for it, I think the play call's horrendous. So I'll blast you for 2 reasons. 1, I would kick the field goal, and 2, if you're going for it, put the ball in the end zone. Give yourself a chance because that was just horrendous. And I think it changed the whole momentum. And I said at the time, I was texting back and forth with my buddy Matt, and I said, that's a momentum changer right there. And sure enough, the second half, it was a completely different game.
Yeah, listen, Buffalo was a good team, good, strong, young team and everything. And, they put them away. They kind of, I don't want to say they had trouble putting them away, but, they let them come back. And, with Cincinnati, they probably felt as though that they weren't going to be able to claw their way back and come back because of lack of experience. Mm-hmm. And evidently that's Is Cincinnati a team of destiny this year? Oh, it's very possible.
Jeff, that there is such a thing. I would agree with you. Sometimes a team is just destined to win games, and Cincinnati. The thing about Cincinnati right now, they have no fear. They're not afraid of anybody right now. They're cocky. They're young. They just think that, hey, what the hell?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, the Lou A guy, Lou Anamura. Yeah, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals is a Staten Island guy. Went to Wagner. So
what Frank Catalano needs to do is to get this guy on the show for us, or we block him, and then he can talk to himself.
I don't think Lou's going to be available to anybody, especially the Hard Rocket Sports Show before the Super Bowl. But
he might not be. But I mean, come on, man, you got to get his.
Frank, I'll say this: after the Super Bowl's over, if you made an inquiry, we would not get upset if you made an inquiry to your friend's husband about popping into the Hard Rocket Sports Show. So I'm not putting any pressure on you. Jeff seems to be. His wife, he might not like you, Frank. I can't imagine anybody doesn't like you, Frank. I think you're off on that one. So, but hey, listen, I thought that was an interesting game. I thought Andy Reid and Jeff, I think that Patrick Mahomes is his I don't want to say legacy. That's too soon. But he unraveled in that game, and his stature. I don't know what the right word's going to be. But he definitely took a hit in that game. He definitely unraveled in the end of that game and did not play well. And give up the ball, nearly fumbled. Before they get kicked to kick the field goal, to tie the game. He fumbled the ball, almost gave it away.
Well, listen, it is what it is. The game is over. They could look back at it in hindsight and say, well, if we did this, if we did that. If Woody went straight to the police, this wouldn't have happened, all that other good shit. Whoa. But, listen, this is a team, the Chiefs, that they're going to be in the running for a lot of different things for a long time.
Yeah.
With Mahomes, the quarterback. Travis Kelce seems to do that one pass. He does the slant towards the middle of the field, and he's open every single fucking time.
Yeah.
And that wide receiver, man, what the fuck? I can't. Tyreek Hill. The guy's just so fucking fast.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You give him a step, that's it. It's over. It really is. They're a talented team. That's a fun team to watch play. It really is. And Patrick Mahomes, when he's out there, he just, I don't want to say he's cocky, but he just seems to have so much
confidence.
Yeah, he just exudes confidence, man.
Yeah, again, I don't have a problem with them. I think that play call was cocky. I agree with Frankie. He should have kicked the field goal there, took the points going to halftime. I think it's a different ball game. I'm not sorry they lost, though. To be honest with you, I did not want to see them in the Super Bowl again. I didn't think they were the best team I watched this year. Played much better down the stretch. You were 100% right.
Oh, without a doubt. They were, at one point in time, it didn't look like they were going to do anything.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, you're right. You're in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. Get the fucking points, man. Take the points.
Yeah. So again, I think this is going to be a fun matchup. I'm rooting hard for the Bengals. I despise Sean McVay and your boy Odell Beckham's over there. I can't root for Beckham, so I'm rooting hard for the Bengals. I think it's going to be a good football game. I got to be honest with you. I think the Rams have the better defense, but I won't give them that. We're not going to hold. We're going to hold our predictions till to next week, Jeff. We're not going to give our predictions for the game. We'll get more into more of the stories of the game. And let me ask you a question: do you like the 2 weeks off between the games? Would you rather than be playing this Sunday? What's your thought? What's your thoughts on it?
The 2 weeks off between the games are about as stupid as it gets.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think you give guys a chance to heal up a little bit. I think I kind of like it. I like the intrigue. I'm a big fan of this weekend. This weekend, usually ESPN plays the highlights from every Super Bowl start to finish. I watch it every year. I don't watch every single one of them. It's kind of hard to do that. but it takes obviously about 25, 26 hours, and they play the highlights from Super Bowl I right through Super Bowl 55. And I try to watch as many of them as I can. It's a lot.
You watch what you can. You stop at Super Bowl III. You absorb it.
Oh my God!
You understand why Broadway Joe did what he did, and the Jets.
Oh boy!
And then you could pretty much skip.
Most overrated Super Bowl of all time. But go ahead.
There's no reason to watch a lot of the Super Bowls. I could name. I don't know the numbers, but there's at least 3. that I could never watch a second time because of fucking the luck factor.
The luck factor?
Yeah.
You think it's a luck factor?
Hey, listen.
Well,
I say it is, man.
Well, guys, we're going to bring this thing to a close. We got a lot to talk about next week for the Super Bowl. We'll do our Super Bowl show next Thursday night. This Saturday, we'll be doing the Sunday Audible, 9 a.m. Jeff, John, and myself. We'll talk a little bit about a lot about the whole Brian Flores thing. I'm sure more stuff will come out, so we'll talk about that. Tom Brady retiring, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. We'll do more on Tom Brady. We'll give you a bigger breakdown of both games. A little disappointed in the second game Sunday from last Sunday, but I'm going to hold it till Saturday's show. Some weird calls. I don't know what McVay was doing, challenging a couple of those plays. Garoppolo, Jeff, I will tell you this. Which time is what? Saturday is 9 o'clock. Next Thursday is regular time. Frankie, if you're interested. What did the 49ers do about your boy Garoppolo next year? You like his tan skin, his olive skin, as you called it, his jet black hair.
They trade him and fucking get a king's ransom. What are you kidding me?
Trade him for what?
For what? For
scoreboard bulb?
Picks.
Scoreboard bulbs. They couldn't even get a
bulb. The guys
bulb.
went to 2 Super Bowl, 1 Super Bowl, and 2 NFC Championship games in the last 4 years. With teams, you don't tell me that Denver won't give up the kitchen sink. Pittsburgh. There's some teams that need some fucking quarterbacks. Carolina.
Listen, Jeff.
Cleveland.
If you were walking through the desert, and the only thing you had to drink was sand, and I walked up and offered you chalk, you take it. If you're the Broncos or some of those teams you mentioned, you're walking around with the quarterbacks you've had. Of course, you take Jimmy Garoppolo. Because he's better than what you've had. Doesn't mean he's any good.
Well, you just said that makes no sense what you just said.
Of course it does.
No, it don't. He's better than what you have, but it doesn't mean he's no good. Well,
yeah. It's like being tallest bitch in the circus. If you have a guy who's horrendous and you got a guy who's bad, you take the guy who's bad because he's not horrendous. He's still better than what you had, but he doesn't mean he's any good.
This is the Giant fan mentality. This is why where you still want to fucking hold. I ain't even going to chance to tell you why the Giants are going to crash and burn. So I'm going to tell you real quick. You ready?
I'm ready.
You got yourself a new fucking GM, okay? Yep. His roots could be traced back to over there. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. New England, baby, yes.
Watch, ready?
The motherland.
Not good.
Motherland.
Not good. Okay?
Oh,
and you get yourself a fucking coach that looks like fucking Bastion Booger from the WWE or WWF whenever he was playing. Listen, this guy's going to have to stand on somebody's shoulders so he can see the field. He looks like a fucking troll. What are they going to put a bridge over him? Watch. You ready? No.
Oh, you don't
don't like it.
You don't like it?
Then you still have fucking Saquon Barkley on the fucking team.
Absolutely.
Okay? This guy couldn't run off a cliff. Are you fucking kidding me? He's got to go. Bad knee and all, you got to go. Then you got fucking Daniel Jones. The guy's a turnover machine. There's bakeries that don't make as many turnovers as he does, this fucking guy. Okay? He fucking sucks.
Oh,
and then your new coach, I'm going to keep Daniel Jones. Because he can't talk because his bottom jaw don't fucking move. It's just fucking fused to his chest and his big fucking head. Okay? So that's what's going to happen. Everything could change if they get rid of fucking Barkley and they get rid of Jones. But you want to keep Jones.
I do.
Because he's not great, but he's not terrible, so we'll keep him. Makes no sense.
He's going to be better. He's going to be better this year.
You got the fuck out of here.
It's going to be better.
Fuck out of here.
And Frankie, if you...
He's going to fucking get hurt. Frank, tell me I'm wrong.
Frank, don't encourage it, Frank. Please don't encourage it.
Think about what I'm saying. I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
We got a guy who's going to take my man.
When they said that they were starting Geno Smith, you should have lit every car on fire over there at Met Stadium until they brought the fucking coach out and the general manager and hung him out in the parking lot for that. That's one thing. Okay. Then you release Eli fucking Manning and the rest of the quarterbacks over there, and you start over again. You wanted to sign Eli to a 10-year deal at that point in time. The guy was like 43 years old. And you're like, he's still better. I remember you were like, he's still better than half the people that are out.
He was.
Get the fuck out of here.
He was.
You fucking kidding me.
He was.
He cried, Tom. Oh he cried. They made him sit down for a half, and he cried. Do what the coach says.
Let me know when you're done.
Please, come on.
He's on a roll. Frank, please stop encouraging him. Please.
Nobody's encouraging me. Yeah, I'll tell you. The Jets, look at the Jets. We just drafted Sam Darnold. And I said from day one, that guy's going to suck. And what happened? Lo and behold, he sucked. Here's another fucking earth-shattering fucking prediction. You ready? Fucking Zach Wilson. He's going to be on Carolina in 2 years, too. You watch.
Are you done? You're ripping everybody tonight.
I am ripping everybody apart because nobody is doing anything for me to say, you know what, that's a good fucking move. And I'll tell you right now, okay? Come April, the end of April, I want to make it a point. I wanted to do the draft show with you, next to you.
Sure.
Okay? To see a way you could look me in the eye when I turn around and say, yep, they fucked up again. Why the fuck are they taking him? Maybe this time they'll take 2 fucking safeties again. I don't know.
Well, we get to do the top 10 together. We'll get to see 4 picks by our teams.
Yeah. Either one of us going to really want to see that. God only knows what we're going to see that.
Well, we will be around for the NFL draft that night.
Between the two of them, they picked 3 right tackles and a punter.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Oh, my God. He's on a roll. You know what? He got all fired up at the end. At the end of this thing, he got himself all fired up. My God. He's all fired up.
I finally got it out of my system. I held on to it for too long.
Listen, I'm going to end on that note, but let's start with the thank yous. I want to thank my dad for popping up like he does every week. I want to thank all you guys who pay attention to us online, or all the people sending me text messages during the show. Thanks to Joe Gansas and his backup with Around the Kid every Sunday night. So make sure you find that on your radio dial, somewhere on Facebook. But make sure you pay attention to Joe and Around the Kid. Thanks to Joe for popping in for a few minutes tonight. Thanks again to everybody who paid attention to us on Facebook. And thank you to my partner in crime, Mr. Jeff Tomlinski, for a very entertaining show full of misinformation and crack-induced rhetoric. But needless to say, I still love to hear what he has got to say, even though it's crack-induced.
You know that I'm right. That's the thing. You know that I'm right.
Oh yeah.
You say these things, but yet I know it's going to happen. You're going to get off the air right now.
Uh-huh.
You're going to call your wife into your room.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, he's right again. This motherfucker's right again. He's right again. I can't fucking stomach him. He's right again.
I don't think I can almost guarantee you none of that's happening.
She probably says from the other room, Tom, I'm not coming in. He's right. I told you he's right. That's what happens.
All right, let's see if that's what happens. I promise I'll definitely call you and put you on the and do a FaceTime with you so you can see it if she says that. But I got a feeling it could have happened.
Okay.
But so we'll be back Sunday morning 9 a.m. with the Sunday Audible. This Saturday morning special edition of the Sunday Audible, 1 hour, one hour only. This Saturday morning, Jeff, myself, and John. And then we'll be back Thursday night, Jeff, with the Super Bowl show. We do it every year. We'll break down the Super Bowl, see if we get some people on. Maybe Louis Pico will be off of suspension. Maybe he'll pop up with us for a little while for the first time. We'll get Louis on, and we'll get a bunch of people on talking Super Bowl. I'll put some people out there. Maybe Frank Catalano wants to join us. Frankie's always got a lot to say. But we'll be back Thursday night with the Super Bowl show. And then, I think we got a week off after that because I'll be away in Florida. And then we're right back to it again for another stretch run toward our 8th anniversary. July 31st will be 8 years. We'll be opening up the football season training camps with our 8th year anniversary, Jeff. Very cool.
You don't know what happened over here just now, do you?
You probably just let a rocket go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Took a chance, and I shot at you.
Yeah, I got it. And at that moment, your screen bubbled. So just for the record.
Sure. That wasn't the only thing that bubbled.
Check the connections. But all right. So
hey, you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
We got the house up for sale again.
I did not know that till today when you I know you said you were going for it in the spring, and I thought you were going to be waiting a little longer. But go ahead.
No. The plan was for February 1st, and that's about when it went up again. So it's back up for sale again. We're seeing we had 2 today, 3 yesterday, or whatever, and we got 1 on Saturday so far. So we've had 5 or 6 people come through looking at the house. We still own it though, of course, because nobody's making us a fucking offer, these scumbags. But we've had people come and look at the house.
Right.
Anyway, all of a sudden my wife comes home. And I'm like, yeah, we got people. I'm like, oh, no, this isn't good. And I'm like, oh, God, this is no good. She's like, what's the matter? So I think I used the bathroom. But these people are coming at 5:30. It's like 5:23. And I'm like, I can't hold this. I got to go. And she's like, you can't. And I'm like, I gotta. That's all there is to it. So I went upstairs and it was fucking like, and made it through somehow, some way.
Floors buckled.
Yeah. I'm no C&O here anymore. None of that stuff. You got a skylight in the bathroom. But thank God nobody went upstairs right away.
Thank God. You give it a little time for the filter out. Yeah.
And then we still have people there. And then I tell my wife, I'm like, listen, round 2 is coming. And she's like, no. And I'm like, Sharon, it's already here, sweetie. There's nothing I can do to fight this one off. It's coming.
This is inevitable. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It smelled like burning plastic, man. It was not good.
I would say if your poop is smelling like burning plastic, you got some issues. I think you have to start looking at your dietary intake.
Well, I don't know if I want to look at the dietary intake. I don't know. I may have to look at something. I just don't know what it may be.
Well, I think you should definitely look at something, because if you're smelling burning plastic, you got a couple issues there. Either something crawled up there and died. We have to do
nothing went in.
Right,
I think something's overstaying. It's welcome.
So yeah, I think we better look at it. But we'll have to do that off the air, because we got to call it a night right now. So I'll give Jeff the last word. Jeff, it's the last word. What do you got?
Till tomorrow, whatever. Work tomorrow, whatever. Tired. Got to go to bed soon.
All right. So again, remember, guys, Saturday morning, 9 a.m. for the Sunday Audible. Next Thursday night, the Hard Rocket Sports Show comes back at 7 o'clock. Between now and then, no football this week, unless you like the Pro Bowl game, which nobody does. So, but enjoy your weekend.
They're still fucking doing that, really?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a quiet weekend of no football this weekend. I'm going to catch up on some movies. I'm going to watch. I'm going to do a lot of stuff around the house and anything but football. But I'll be looking forward to the Super Bowl and, of course, the shows in between. So again, for Jeff, myself, and everybody here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Keep up. Have a great week and a great weekend. Stay dry, stay warm, and we'll see you back here next Thursday night on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. Have faith. Thanks, brother. I'll catch you off the air.
You got it, dude. I'll see you later.
See you later.